From managers, pundits and fans, some big games in the top flight and the playoffs, but we kick off with what should be an absolute belter. It's Celtic against Rangers with Pat Bonner, Billy Dodds and Liam McLeod.
Well, it may or may not be a belter. It will certainly be significant in where the title for this season will be heading. Will it be staying here for a third season in succession, for a 12th time out of 13? Or can Rangers pick up the win that they so desperately need, let alone want, to keep this title race alive? They would then play Dundee at home on Tuesday with a chance to go top if they were to win this one and pile the pressure on Celtic before they go to Kilmarnock, where they've lost on both previous visits this season. The problem with that scenario is Rangers don't win here all too often. Just a couple since 2011, as James Tavernier and Callum McGregor come to the halfway line, the two captains flanking the referee, Willie Collin, who tosses the coin. It's a glorious day here. There's barely a breath of wind at all. And about 22 degrees Celsius on the mercury just now, so it's going to be hot, and the battle is going to be hot as well between these two rivals in what is the key battle, and the second of a trilogy of meetings between these two over the course of about 6 weeks. The first was a 3-3 across the city at Ibrox. Celtic threw away 2-0 and 3-2 leads, but ultimately would have probably settled for a draw in that one. And of course Rangers had their away day problems in Dingwall and Dundee, and that's why they're so up against it here today. Even a win might not be enough for Rangers come the shake-up a week today. Could be done before then, of course. We shall see what transpires as Callum McGregor riles the players up in the huddle to the left. Celtic in the green and white hoops, Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops. Hart in goal for Celtic, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Taylor, O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate, Forrest and Maida, who returns with Kyogo. Rangers with Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Davis, Barisic, Lundstrom, Diamonde, Sterling, Lawrence, Silva and Dessers. Rangers are going to get the final league meeting between these two underway now as Tom Lawrence rolls the ball back to Lundstrom, who finds Suter, who finds Barisic on the near side. Barisic and Tavernier, the only two Rangers players in the visiting side that have tasted victory here at Celtic Park, as Scales heads it up towards halfway. Suter with the challenge on Kyogo, and that's the first free kick of the game, goes Celtic's way. Suter just laying a marker on Kyogo Furuhashi, who's been a thorn in the side of the blue and white side of Glasgow so often since he arrived here. And it's going to be a free kick just inside the Rangers half.
Yeah, he just blocked him off, didn't he? The ball bounced over Suter's head and Kyogo's away. And he's almost, because Kyogo's a small one too, you're always going to maybe catch him with your arm. I don't think there was anything too malicious in it.
McGregor takes it short to the left of the circle for Scales. Side football forward, Kyogo finds O'Reilly, the edge of the Rangers box. First test for Rangers this. Forrest in the penalty area up against Barisic, hits the byline, pulls it back. Butland saves incredibly from his own man Suter, who's threw out the leg to stop the cross. It was net bound, and but for a wonderful save by Jack Butland, Rangers would have been behind a minute in. It stays 0-0.
I don't know how much he knew about it, Pat. I mean, there the marker set, Rangers sit deep, but Forrest still at Barisic, drives it across, comes off Suter, you think it's in the net. Somehow Butland stops it, Tavernier boots it away. What a start.
Yeah, I think it was just, he probably stayed big, Billy, and the ball sort of can almost deflect it off. I don't think you're right, I don't think he knew too much about it, but that doesn't matter. He kept it in the net, and that's a big save right at the start of this game.
Well, if Rangers go on to win the title this season, Jack Butland's been worth his weight in gold for them. Wonderful save again as Johnston goes down. No free kick this time. It's swept out to the left here for Dessers. Level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half as Lundstrom wins the throw-in off Carter Vickers. I said it's a trilogy of meetings between these two in the spring here. That 3-3 at Ibrox, there's this one, and 2 weeks today they'll contest the Scottish Cup final for the first time in 22 years as well. As Suter collects, centre of the park, midway inside his own half, fires it out to Tavernier on the right-hand side. Maidau's given him so much bother, wins it back off him. Brilliant backtracking by Dyson Maidau, of course capitalised on a Tavernier error early on at Ibrox a month ago. Celtic just trying to get it out of the danger area. Scales plays it off Tavernier, but he gets the break of the ball, and Greg Taylor clears up towards the halfway line. Picked up in the midfield by Reo Hatate. It wouldn't settle for him though. Back with Lundstrom and to Suter, and back to Butland, and for Philip Clement it would have been so crucial for him as Butland plays it straight out for a throw-in over on the far side low. So important for Rangers to bed themselves into this one, because with 60,000 inside this bear pit of a stadium, no visiting fans, if you fall behind early, as they so very nearly did, it could make for a long afternoon for the visitors.
It's exactly it. We've got to try and calm the crowd, Rangers, because with that chance that they had, Forrest driving and the ball coming off Suter has really lifted him.
Johnston wins it off Silva, Forrest through towards Kyogo, and the sliding Ben Davis prevents it getting through to Celtic star striker, and it's out for a throw into the hosts on this near side, which will be taken by Alistair Johnston. 3.5 in then, 0-0. Celtic started brightly. Johnston finds Forrest on the left foot, and he hammers it high over the bar, and it stays Celtic 0, Rangers 0. That was on his right-hand side. You might have fancied Forrest to potentially test Butland at the very least there. Yeah. It stays 0-0.
The movement is good from Celtic. Take nothing away. It's just the crossover. Forrest spinning inside. Silva was really a disgrace there, how he just let him run and have the shot. I mean, you've got to get your individual battles right and make sure you stay with your man. Silva just lets Forrest go. Disgrace.
He's certainly not made many friends watching his performance as Fabio Silva even enraged the Rangers support when he equalised against Kilmarnock a week ago, as Diamonde picks up in the midfield, midway inside the Celtic half, finds Lawrence, out to Silva, Barisic in the overlap, Silva instead, bends it, it's a good ball, headed towards goal by Sterling, he wasn't really expecting it, and Celtic clear. Lawrence picks up the scraps on the far side. Looked like that was going to bounce perfectly for Dujon Sterling to head towards goal. Down into the ground it went instead, and it was timid, and Celtic were able to clear, and it stays Celtic 0, Rangers 0 in these very early exchanges, but both sides with opportunities in the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity for Rangers, because they went to the back post, the header back across, I think it might have been Johnson, was it, that intercepted, and if he didn't, Desters was there just to head home from about 2 yards out. Really good interception, but a good play from Celtic, or sorry, from Rangers, initially getting into a good position to throw that ball into that back post, and that was an area that we've probably picked up on a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, that Celtic are a little bit vulnerable, whether that's lack of height or whether it's defenders not getting their positions right, but certainly that was a big chance.
More like Silva with a cross, and then obviously Taylor against Sterling, and Scales had to clear it practically off the line.
Credit where it's due, it's a fabulous ball in by Fabio Silva. Sterling's only got one professional goal in his career. It of course came for Rangers against Benfica in Lisbon in the Europa League last 16. The Scales turns it out to Taylor on the left-hand side, up the line, low ball, Maidau spins away from Tavernier, now he's driving down the left-hand side, low ball across is cut out, and Celtic have the game's first corner. It comes almost in 6 minutes.
Yeah, good play, just using, he knew where the defender was up against him, and just playing it first touch inside, and he's away with that little bit of turn of pace.
Brendan Rodgers taking a drink from his water bottle down below us. It's a quick corner, it's taken short, Hatate to Taylor. Taylor, it's a poor ball by him though, and he side foots it out to this near side. Forrest is to run away from goal to get onto it. Now he's on facing goal away from Lundstrom. He's on the left again, he shoots again, and Butland tips it over because he just wasn't sure. Celtic have another corner, 0-0.
I did say before the game, Forrest has got that ability. He's obviously started over on the right, able to go down the line, but also cut in, and that space just opened up again for him. And he could take 2 or 3 touches before he got his shot away.
It's very much back on the scene, James Forrest. As O'Reilly takes the corner, this time it's into the box, but it beats everyone and it sails behind the reverse side of the goal frame for a goal kick. He's rightly kept his place, Packy, hasn't he? He's been magnificent the last few weeks, and he's been magnificent across his Celtic career, particularly that spell in Brendan Rodgers' first time in charge.
Yeah, and we talked about it. Listen, he's fresh enough because he hasn't played a lot, but he looks as if he's got a nice edge to his game at the moment. He's come in, he's made a big impact since he's come into the team over the last couple of weeks, scored goals, but also a threat, and he will create also.
Looking to help his team towards would be his, personally, 23rd major honour as a Celtic player, the most ever. Bobby Lennox, 26. Hatate, fabulous turn, slips it through quickly, looking for Maida. Tavernier's in the road. Bouncing ball in the midfield will fall for Hatate, controls to the edge of the area, goes down, free kick Celtic, fouled by Mohamed Diamonde, and this is in a tantalising position as well, just a couple of yards outside the edge of the D of the Rangers box and slightly right to centre. It is perfect for a left footer, this.
It's a brilliant turn from Hatate. Just going back, I mean, I thought Rangers tried to kill the game, and Butland just takes time with the by kick, he puts it straight out the pitch. Celtic pick up the build, they give it to Hatate, the kid's on, he's going to lay it off, just drops his shoulder and turns, he's on the run and he's taken out, and suddenly Celtic have a free kick. They've got to slow it down, kill it as much as they can, Rangers, but brilliant play from Hatate.
O'Reilly, Kyogo stand over this free kick. There have been chances at both ends. Celtic have had a couple. Rangers one. What can O'Reilly or Kyogo make of this free kick? It's in a fabulous position. The Rangers wall is to the left of the penalty spot, and O'Reilly with the left or Kyogo with the right. Let's find out. It's going to be O'Reilly. Oh, he's just wide. Not far away at all. Past that right-hand post. Butland dive full stretch. He wasn't sure if that was on target. He got plenty power behind it. It stays almost 9 in. Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
It obviously must have went over the bar because it had pace on it, real pace. It was bending away from the goal. I don't think Jack Butland was going to get to it, but it was on target. I would love to see how far that was wide, because it had real pace.
Just looked inches past the left-hand post, didn't he? Like, he was scrambling, that is for sure, but Rangers inviting that pressure. It's a brilliant free kick from O'Reilly, just past.
Ben Davis picks up. Diamonde's on the deck, he's getting back to his feet. He'll be relieved. It's a long ball pumped forward down the left-hand side. Johnston will see it behind for the goal kick, though, with Silva for company. And it is a goal kick to Celtic. Remember, just 3 points between them, 5 goals on the goal difference. Celtic have scored more as well. If it needs to come down to that, Rangers would need a 3-goal victory to go top today. They haven't done that in a quarter of a century here. As Tavernier slides in and Maida puts it out for a throw into Celtic over on the far side. Level with the Rangers penalty spot. It's Greg Taylor over it. Bit of movement from Maida. Ahead of him, Hatate's out there too. He's not really got an obvious option here, Taylor. He's taking his time over it. Eventually takes it to Hatate, back to Taylor. He's looking to keep it in play, but it's going to drift behind for the goal kick. Rangers 10 in, 0-0.
Sorry, Liam, I was just watching Rangers. The first time they've gone after them pretty high. The last couple of times I was watching, see how they did go about it. They sat off, they tried to contain. Suddenly they went after them high there, and they just pop it 3 times and get out to Taylor, and Celtic are right down that left wing.
Long ball forward up to the halfway line, headed forward by Johnston. Barisic through the header onto the chest of Lawrence. There's Lundstrom finding Diamonde. It's a heavy touch, and then he goes in on Callum McGregor, and the Celtic supporters howl as one. They want further action taken against Diamonde by Willie Collum here.
Yeah, it was a bad touch, wasn't it? He got away from him, and he's gone for it. McGregor was sharp getting it onto the ball. I think having a word with him is probably the right decision at this moment in time in the game. I think so.
Yeah, 60,000 here, he disagree with you.
I know, but that's always going to be the case.
I think he's doing the right thing for himself, Willie Collum there, because if he'd gone with his right leg, it was as if he just threw out his left. It was lazy. I think he's done the right thing, letting him off with it. Could have been a book, no, but in this magnitude of game, just try and calm things.
The last time the team at the top, 35 matches in, and lost the title was in 2005 when Celtic lost it on the final day. Despite holding a 2-point lead at this point, Martin O'Neill's final season in charge ended in bitter disappointment as Elliot McLeish's Rangers went on to win it on what became known as Helicopter Sunday. That back 19 years now. And Scott McDonald goals for Motherwell at Fir Park did the damage. But whoever's been top at this point has won the title from this point since then, as Tavernier is chopped down just outside the centre circle. He's in enemy territory here. It's a central position. Lundstrom over it. It's good play by Tavernier. Just takes the pressure off his defenders as well.
Yeah, he intercepted the ball, read it really well, and broke forward. There you can see Maeda getting back, and he knows that he's got a job to do in Tavernier. He can't relax, and he got back, give away the foul, but probably a decent foul from where the position is right, almost in the middle of the pitch.
And Tavernier's got 3 goals in his last 2 visits here. He takes this free kick right through the bent into the left-hand side of the box, missed by Hatate and O'Reilly, but Suter can make nothing of it. The referee blows his whistle anyway, and Celtic have a free kick. It is 0-0 at Celtic Park, 12.5 minutes in. Rangers have to win. It's as simple as that. And even a draw here, which would ordinarily be a relatively positive result, is no good to them today.
Yeah, you can see with Celtic having that zonal free kick, there's maybe a way forward for Rangers just to try and nick things, spring on them, get up the pitch, get free kicks, because they were aiming for Suter against O'Reilly in that back zone, just couldn't get far enough to get Suter on it to get a header in.
And Suter scored in that final derby of last season. 3-0 Rangers win at Ibrox, albeit Celtic had long since been crowned champions under Ange Postecoglou. And Suter squares it to Davis. Big day for him. He's had precious little football in his first appearance since December last week. Scored his first Rangers goal against Kilmarnock. Crucial one it was. They looked like they were having trouble in, even against 10 men at times. Carter Vickers does a little bit of last-ditch defending, turning it out for a throw-in. There was a long ball for Silva, and Rangers have a throw-in level with the Celtic 6-yard line on this near side. Barisic out to take.
Yeah, listen, Rangers aren't going to play maybe through midfield where they're going to be pressed. They're going to play that long ball in behind, and they were successful on this occasion. It was a decent ball down the channel. They've got a throw-in and almost left wing-back position.
There's Barisic away from Forrest into the Celtic box. He goes. He's at the byline, tries to chip it across, headed away by Johnston. Clearance completed by Hatate out to this near side. Comes off Lundstrom's head, but it's going to break to Johnston here, who fires it forward. Davis gets onto it. Silva might get onto the scrap series, onto inside the box. Silva across the face of goal. Can't find the target. Big chance for Fabio Silva. Dessers is waiting for a pull across as well. It stays though. Celtic 0, Rangers 0. 14.5 in. What an opportunity for Silva.
Yeah, he just drags it when he tries to hit it with his left foot, maybe with a bit of out to in curl, but it's a fabulous opportunity. Didn't fancy the first tackle. Rangers win the second. It breaks the Silva in the box. He's at the angle, maybe 12 yards out, drags it wide. What a chance that is.
Here comes Forrest, slight challenge, Barisic. The ref doesn't like it. Celtic have another free kick. They're certainly getting about the Celtic players. Rangers today, they have to do that. It's as simple as that. They've got to try and somehow unsettle this Celtic team and unsettle this Celtic crowd as they take the free kick quickly. Kyogo's after it, Butland's onto it though, and he grabs with both gloves. Celtic 0, Rangers 0 on 15.
Yeah, Celtic haven't quite settled in this game. They haven't got their passing, and you're right, Rangers can upset them, and they press quite high. I know
when it's dead balls, there's no problem because they've got times to set up a press, but open play, they've just sat off at times. But I mean, they've calmed the crowd. The crowd were incredible to start with. Celtic started well. It's kind of just lost its momentum just now, and that'll suit Rangers.
Yeah, Taylor was spooked with a long, looping, high switch of play out to the far side. Sterling was behind him. Wasn't sure how dangerous the situation was. He's headed it out for a Rangers throw, which is level with the Celtic penalty spot right in front of the north stand. Yeah,
well, that long ball has pushed Celtic back into their own half, and if they can get throw-ins and almost put Celtic under a little bit of pressure from them, that suits them. They're not going to play through midfield too often.
Throw-in comes into the box, beats everyone, comes right through to Joe Hart. Rangers attacking the Jock Stein stand end. Celtic defend that traditionally in the first half of matches. Today's no exception. As Carter Vickers tries to drive away from Dessers and decides to turn it back to his keeper. Low ball back to Hart. The business end of season 23-24 here. Saw Partick Thistle last night move into the semi-finals of the Premiership playoff system. They'll play Raith Rovers over 2 legs next week. Full coverage on the BBC Scotland TV channel of both legs. Busy week on the radio as well as the Premiership ticks down to its conclusion. Full coverage on Sports out here in BBC Radio Scotland of all of that. Rangers win it back in the midfield. Lawrence evading McGregor. Taylor comes to meet him. Taylor wins it back brilliantly. He was strong in the challenge. Clearly wanted it a little bit more than Tom Lawrence there. Didn't fancy the 50-50. Here comes Johnston for Celtic. Out to the right-hand side, onto the byline. Forrest jinking towards the box. Low ball looking for Hatate. Sliding into Diamande to win it back for Rangers as Silva picks up on this near side. He's not a flying machine by any stretch, Fabio Silva, as he tries to bump McGregor. Down goes McGregor, and it's a free kick to Celtic. 0-0.
Yeah, listen, McGregor did well there because obviously Greg Taylor had, Johnson had pushed forward in the overlap, and that space was there for Silva to exploit. But that's McGregor's job also. It's not just getting on the ball, but to fill those spaces defensively when there's players out of position.
I was talking to Stuart McCall on the podcast the other day. He was very concerned about Callum McGregor and Rangers giving him too much autonomy in the game. So often when he does, he dictates, and it's very difficult to stop Celtic when McGregor's in that kind of mood. As O'Reilly goes down to another foul, and this time it's Lundstrom with the scissor challenge. And it's going to be a free kick right at the centre circle here for the champions against the challengers. It is 0-0 on 18.
The 18 minutes gone, and Celtic just haven't, their passing hasn't flowed yet. There's been stop-start very much from them.
O'Reilly, here's Callum McGregor, jinking towards the box, he's in space, looks up by the goal, he shoots it wide of the right-hand post. Good hit by McGregor with the left peg. He doesn't score as many as he did in the early part of his Celtic career when he couldn't stop scoring when he burst into the team.
Yeah, he played a different position though, didn't he? He played higher up the pitch. Now he's sitting back, but that was a good run from him.
There's a long one for Rangers, looking for Dessers, headed away by Scales. Sterling controls on the knee on the follow-up, right-hand side there. Back to Tavernier, square ball, Lundstrom. Barisic out on the left-hand side. It's a low ball into the feet of the Croatian, who's playing one of his final Rangers matches here. It certainly looks to be his final visit to Celtic Park as a Rangers player, as Lundstrom's fouled by Hatate, and that will be a free kick. John Lundstrom, another who looks set for the exit door come the close of the season, which is just a couple of weeks away.
They're mixing it up well though, aren't they, Rangers, in terms of when they're in possession as well, going that direct ball that you're talking about, Pat.
Sterling with a cross into the Celtic box. Silva's goal side. He can only head it wide of the left-hand post. He's glanced it past. He got goal side of Johnston.
They're looking to see, they're going to check this, are they? But again, Johnson too squared, not seeing where Silva is. Doesn't get himself open up to see that run, and he allows him on the inside, and he's so lucky because Silva, if he hadn't touched him, then he missed. That was a big chance for him.
He's got to score. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's a brilliant ball, and it's the best chance you'll get in a derby, in a game, never mind, let alone a derby. I mean, it's incredible. He's got inside, just get the full contact. He's only 5 yards out and bury it, but somehow he sclaffs it wide. Even if there was contact, I don't care.
He's had two glorious opportunities. He's taken neither of them. Hearts paid a huge price here by doing that last week. McGregor shifts it to Taylor, central area, attacking the final third again. McGregor wide right in the Rangers box for O'Reilly. It's a low ball back. Forrest's efforts blocked. Brings back to McGregor. His efforts blocked too. Both occasions, I think, by Ben Davies. Celtic have it. Left angle of the box, and McGregor with a side-foot effort over the bar. Fancies his chances of getting on the score sheet today as the Celtic skipper. It stays Celtic 0, Rangers 0, and Ben Davies in the road of both attempts for the champions on that occasion.
Yeah, good blocking, wasn't it? Good defensive, because you've got to put your body on the line, but McGregor getting into those forward positions in that hole. I don't know whether it's obviously he's running off
Lawrence. Yeah, I was thinking that part.
Yeah, and getting, and Lawrence isn't tracking him.
Goalless if you're just joining us here on Sports Sound. BBC Radio Scotland Extra on 810 medium wave, on digital, online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Open all mics to come. 3 o'clock kickoffs. Hearts Dundee, St Mirren Kilmarnock, Livingston St Johnstone and Ross County Motherwell. Also news from the Championship, League One and Pyramid playoffs, which will continue. The Pyramid playoff first leg today, Kilbride Stranraer. Championship playoffs, Accies Alloa 2-2 after the first leg. Caley Thistle Montrose 0-0 after the first leg. League One, Peterhead Spartans who lead 2-1, and Stirling Albion Dumbarton 2-1 up in that one. That's all to come later from 3 in the main though. Here the early part of the programme, it's Celtic Park where it remains 0-0. Here comes Celtic. It's O'Reilly with the pass towards the Rangers box, cut out by Lundstrom. Lundstrom's lost it though to O'Reilly, sweeps the ball in high to the left hand side of the box. Maida heads it back across, Davis heads it away. Butland decided not to come. Tavernier nods it forward for Diamonde. Hatate's all over him, rolls it back to the edge of his box for Barisic, who in turn goes back to Butland. Right-footed, long, high ball up towards the halfway line. Scales is underneath it, ricochets back off Sterling's head and falls kindly for Greg Taylor over on that left-hand side. Played almost a quarter of this final Old Firm Derby League meeting of the season. 0-0. James Forrest wide in the right, taking on Barisic, moves infield, slips it outside of the boot for Johnston. His attempted ball across, cut out by Davis, and Celtic up their third corner. It's 0-0.
Yeah, it's that movement Pat's talking about with Forrest when they get him 1-on-1 with Barisic. He's inside. It's a lovely run from Alistair Johnson. He just flicks it with outside his foot. Forrest finds him in the box. He blasts across the cross, and it's Ben Davis again that gets away. He started pretty well, Ben Davis, in terms of defending.
O'Reilly left-footed in swinging corner into the box, flicked away by Suter. So important he did that because Carter Vickers was waiting in behind him, and it goes out on the reverse side for a throw-in right down by the corner flag. So Celtic still on the attack here. Taylor to take. He's actually going to take it level with the penalty spot. They don't mind the referees for some reason taking the throw-ins as long as you're going further back the pitch.
It's just open up a bit of space for himself.
Yeah, exactly. They don't seem to care when it goes back the way. Taylor crosses in, comes off Suter's head towards his own goal though, headed away by Davis on the 6. Taylor trying to get onto it. Lawrence is there, he hoofs it clear with the right foot. Desser's trying to make it stick. Scales over him. The ref didn't like the challenge of Liam Scales, who recently signed that contract extension here. They've taken it too quickly for Willie Collins' liking. Diamonde had actually slipped it through to Dessers. Willie Collins wasn't ready though, and that's going to be a free kick over on the right of the centre circle in their own half for Rangers. Willie Collins taking charge of this fixture for the 11th time today. Of course, he was the VAR that Alistair Johnston incident in the Rangers' last visit here, tail end of December. And Suter clips it forward to the point. Rangers didn't want him refereeing their matches. They were very public in stating so. Here he is today, right in the middle of this battle. Celtic win it back on the left. McGregor down the left-hand touchline. Daisen Maida will now test John Suter, driving down the left. Drops the shoulder, back onto the right, rolls it to Hatate. O'Reilly's in space, just on the edge of the box. He's found him, he shoots, and it's just wide again from Matt O'Reilly. Well, the freedom of Glasgow's East End there did the big Celtic midfielder. And for the second time in this match, he's put it wide to the right-hand side of the goal frame, and it stays almost on 25. Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, that's 3 shots now, I think. Almost Jack Butland's left-hand post has gone narrowly wide on that side, but I thought he was going to slew it in the other side actually.
So did I.
But he's tried to go across the goalkeeper and just took it away from goal.
Trying to give him the eyes, didn't he, Pat? It's probably better set up to go to Butland's right.
Philip Pittman was furious about a stray ball by Rangers, but when he turned his back, they won it back, and it's Dessers looking to slip it to the right-hand side of the box for Lawrence. 3-4 in blue, in fact, now waiting in the middle. The ball's poor though, and it comes right through to Joe Hart. Come off a Celtic defender and the Celtic keeper, who will be retiring a fortnight today. Has the ball in his gloves. 0-0.
Come off my head. I took the sting out the cross, but it was a good opportunity for Rangers.
Striding forward, Scales. Kyogo, I think, was in an offside position by the time he released the pass anyway. It's been cut out by Davis, and now it's with Suter, who goes back to Butland. Butland takes a touch, shifts it to his right, long right foot ball down the far side, top the head of Taylor. Taylor then down the line, but only to Diamonde, who tries to launch it forward, looking for Dessers, headed away by Scales. Sterling's onto it now. To his right, Diamonde. Diamonde's got Sterling still in support. He turns away from Maida and rolls it back to his captain, Tavernier. To the right of the centre circle for Lundstrom. Now Barisic. Barisic forward to Lawrence, to Silva. They switch it out to the left. The boos from the Celtic supporters. The visitors, not a single fan here in the stadium to watch them today. Suter rolls it out to the right-hand side for Sterling. Up against Maida. Onto the right, then back onto the left side. He's still on his right foot though. Uses the left to roll it back to Suter. Long right foot ball, looking for Silva. It should be dealt with by Johnston. It is, but it's at the concession of a Rangers corner. Their first of the match on this near side, almost on 27 at 0-0.
I thought Sterling was going to deliver. I looked at the numbers in the box. I think Rangers had 3 or 4, yeah. And that's the thing with not having a natural wide man part. They work it well. 10-11 passes out to Sterling. He turns back. They eventually get a cross, which Johnson this time deals with through the corner.
James Tavernier over it. Willie Collins having a word with a few players inside the penalty area. The Rangers continue with this corner, attacking the goal to the left. So we sit high in the main stand behind Philippe Clement's dugout. Brendan Rodgers stands, arms folded, the Rangers boss to his right. In comes Tavernier's corner. It's not the worst one. It bounces in the 6-yard area, but Scales gets there. Managed to get a little flick onto it, I think, and then he boots it away with the left foot.
Yeah, it was a decent corner, bit of pace on it. Rangers had 6 players inside the 6-yard box, and obviously then Celtic had to go and man mark them, and that it was difficult for Joe Hart when he's in there, but that certainly was a good corner, well worked. Anybody could have got on the end of it.
Little flick away by Kyogo over the head of Lundstrom, but it breaks to Barisic. Now Lundstrom shrugs off O'Reilly's got Silva ahead of him. Instead he squares at the edge of the box. Lawrence on the right, back onto the left, then onto the right. He's overcooked it, and it's cleared by Maida, and out of play for a throw-in. You can accuse plenty Rangers forwards this season of not acting quickly enough when they're in the attacking third. Dessers perhaps most notably, as Silva brings Johnston down on this near side. Free kick to Celtic, but Lawrence delayed, and he was made to pay.
Yeah, but I've got to say Rangers have handled this first half very well, actually. I thought, Celtic tried to overpower them early on with intensity, with the crowd behind them and all, but they've killed that, and they've passed it quite well. They've pushed high up the pitch at times, and I think it's been a good performance, Billy, from Rangers from that. I didn't expect it, actually.
Yeah, exactly the way they would have planned it. You're not telling me in the dressing room, not talked about it. Look, the crowd will be loud. If we give them anything, it'll lift them. We try to take them out the equation and kill them off, and then go and enjoy the game. And it looks as if that's exactly what Rangers have been doing. They've broken it up pretty well.
Carter Vickers for Celtic, deep inside his own half. O'Reilly back to his keeper. Yeah, Rangers coming into this one having won 3 games on the bounce after that run of 2 wins in 8. Continues to threaten to derail their title challenge. Celtic, though, in fabulous form, unbeaten in 8 since losing at Tynecastle. And Scales gives it away on the far side. It's gone out for a Rangers ball. They've only lost 2 of their last 22. Those were both to Hearts. And they've only lost 1 of their last 62 home league games since they lost to St Mirren here in January 21. That was to Hearts in December. And Brendan Rodgers has only ever lost 2 domestic home matches at Celtic. As Celtic manager, because Aberdeen in 2018 at the end of that season, and then that game in December last year.
Yeah, all good stats, but I think he'll be saying to Liam Scales at half-time, just get the ball away early, son. Don't be dwelling on it, don't be taking too many touches, and do what you did at the start of the season really effectively.
So Lawrence looking for Dessers. He does back to goal. He was unbalanced as well. He's unable to control, and Celtic have it back with Carter Vickers out to O'Reilly on this near side. Square ball for Liam Scales.
And that's the problem for Liam also, because Tavernier's picking up Maeda high up the pitch. He doesn't have Greg Taylor. Greg's playing on an inverted full-back, and he doesn't have that pass, that early pass.
Half an hour in, 0-0. Celtic on the attack here. Hatate, Tavernier trying to hold him off. Hatate rolls it back to Carter Vickers, right of the circle. Out to the right-hand side, touchline for Forrest, level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box. Clicks it with the outside of the boot for Johnston. Square ball, Hatate to the right angle of the area for O'Reilly. Now Johnston's found himself in the box. Kyogo! Great save by Butland. He just needs that one shite of goal, there's Kyogo for the Hassie. But he shoots straight at Butland, who saves. And it stays Celtic 0. Rangers 0 on 31.
Celtic, I think, is their best chance. It was good play, really good play. Johnson joining in at the end into that almost, you could call him in a number 10 position and breaking forward, and then Then how quick was Kyogo in the box? Good save from Jack Butland.
But I wouldn't say you'd have been proud of that one yourself, Pat. But Celtic moved it brilliantly. They really did. O'Reilly, and then he just finds Johnson. But I'm watching Silva. Silva's been good in the game offensively. Terrible defensively, just lets Johnson go. And I saw Lawrence at him and he's saying, what are you doing? Just drop him. He's got to be better disciplined or Celtic will score just from nothing.
Here's Maida down the left-hand side. Tavernier boots it off him and out for a Rangers throw-in over on the far side. Both teams have had glorious opportunities in the match. Celtic have had a few more, perhaps. They've gone closer more often, but both teams have had opportunities to get their noses in front. Neither have taken them.
Big chances. Obviously, that first one that Jack Butland sort of just stood up and it hit off him. That was a really good chance there for Celtic. And then, of course, Rangers through Silva had two very good chances in the other end also. So yeah, there could have been goals. The first goal is going to be crucial.
Celtic giving it away again. Here's Sterling down the right-hand side of the box, pulls it back, looking for Dessers. Can only find Carter Vickers though, who launches it out of play into the north stand for a throw-in to the visitors on the far side. It's as comfortable as I've seen Rangers at Celtic Park for a while, has to be said. They haven't won here in front of a crowd since December 2019 when Nikola Katic scored the only goal under Steven Gerrard.
Mentally it's played out the way that Rangers would have hoped it would. Celtic, as we said, the crowd were incredible at the start. They have the chance, they miss it, Rangers break it up, calm it down, take the crowd out of the equation and then attack themselves.
Here's Silva looking for Dessers, who guessed wrongly where the ball was coming. Went in behind Carter Vickers. Dessers decided to try and come to where he thought the ball was going, in front of the defender, and it goes back through to Joe Hart. It is 0-0 at Celtic Park. It's Callum McGregor driving up to halfway, out to the right for O'Reilly, and then on to Forrest on the touchline. 12 to the break. Forrest moving infield, looking for some movement ahead of him. Bounces off Kyogo's left shin and right through to Butland. Difficult one for Kyogo to control that. And it's with the Rangers keeper.
Well, his ability, you'd expect him to do a little bit better. It just bounced up on him and hit him on the shin and got away from him. But his movement was good again. Coming to the ball really sharp and finding that little nugget of space.
You can think of the pantheon of Rangers and Celtic managers in the history of the game in this country, but nobody has a better record in this fixture than Brendan Rodgers does. As Rangers go long, looking for Dessers, Carter Vickers heads it away. He's only lost once. That was that game at Ibrox, and Ryan Jack scored the winning goal. He's unbeaten in all the others in his two spells. So Riley rolls it back to Carter Vickers at the edge of his box. Short to McGregor, then back to Carter Vickers. Nothing between them at the moment. Crucially though, 3 points between them at the top of the Premiership. Here is McGregor. Square to Hatate, back to Taylor, inside the centre circle, finds Carter Vickers on the halfway line, ushers it out to O'Reilly on this near side. Now it's with Forrest, up against Barisic, flicks it round the Croatian, finds Johnston in field, back to Forrest. Forrest gets the run from McGregor, it's a clever run, right hand side, Lawrence comes to meet him, McGregor spins away from goal, rolls it back left, Peter finds O'Reilly! Rangers nil.
Yeah, beautifully worked goal. Good movement of midfield players, and as Billy pointed out earlier, Rangers players not tracking him, not going with the runners. McGregor made a brilliant run off Tom Lawrence. Tom Lawrence struggling to get back to him, picks out O'Reilly in space, inside the box, and he beats Jack Butland at his near post. I don't think Jack Butland could have done anything because the goal was wide open. Nobody tracking those midfield players, Billy.
Yeah, but you've got to compliment the movement of Celtic once something different happens, because they've been struggling to create so far in the game. Then McGregor busts, and it's any time he's got himself forward. Lawrence, discipline-wise, has dropped him, or it's been the other side, or the other player, Silva, who is discipline-wise, he's dropped Johnson at times. But take nothing away from Celtic. Once McGregor goes, he picks the pass, he pops it to O'Reilly, and his left foot strike is sweet and puts Celtic in front, and this crowd are right back in the game now as well.
It's not quite game on again yet though. Willie Collum hasn't got the game restarted. They're just double checking everything, I think, by the looks of it. In fact, there's flares on the pitch, that's what it is. Didn't notice that, the Celtic players.
Yeah, but nobody's coming to take it off. That's the problem. That's why we have a stoppage.
16th goal of the season for Matt O'Reilly. He's into double figures for assists as well. He has been magnificent this season. And but for that little tail off in the winter, he would have been collecting all the accolades. As Willie Collum gets the game back underway, Rangers 2, Lawrence back to Lundstrom. Well, it is advantage Celtic, and as it stands, they are 6 points clear at the top of the Premiership with 2 games to go, with a +9 goal difference on Rangers as well.
Yeah, sorry, Liam.
+6, sorry.
It's a test mentally now for Rangers. You know, to go that goal behind again. We did say the first goal was crucial, and can they actually now handle the atmosphere, handle the pressure that will come from Celtic?
Here comes Maida down the left, taking on Tavernier, hitting the byline, pulls it back, Johnson again! It's come off a Rangers defender! I think it's Suter! And Celtic score twice in a couple of minutes! And the title looks to be all theirs now! As this place becomes complete and utter bedlam! A sea of green and white, green smoke plumes from the stands as well! It is 2 goals to nil in the blink of an eye, and Rangers look beaten already. They have to come from 2 down again for the second derby in succession to stand a chance. Celtic 2, Rangers 0.
Yeah, it was John Lundstrom actually that got the final touch on the ball, facing his own goal. He should have done better. He didn't have to slide around there. It was a kind of almost a weak situation, but
lazy leg, wasn't it?
Yeah, lazy leg, and Jack Buckland again obviously not prepared for that, and no chance. That's Rangers 2-0 down now. Celtic probably in a fantastic position. They've got to do it all over again, Rangers, like they did at Ibrox, but Celtic now got the real upper hand here.
It's a flick of a switch, so Rangers think they have Celtic. It's got to be total concentration, Liam, for 90 minutes. They think they've got them. Celtic score, crowd back in it. Then suddenly Rangers are on the defensive and they're wide open. One long ball, Maeda picks it up, just cuts it back, and then Lundstrom, just with the lazy leg, pops into the net. So not enough discipline, especially after they go 1-0 behind.
Yeah, well, that's 6 points and +9 on the goal difference now as the goal stands. And the title is slipping further and further away from Rangers. 3 in a row. Looks highly likely now. Unless Rangers can do what they did at Ibrox a month back. But this time they're facing this incredible crowd here as Silva comes down the left-hand side. They need the next goal. Here's Barisic in the overlap. Delicate ball. Sterling heads it across. Dessers hits home! And they're back in it already! Cyril Dessers has headed it into the net. He grabs the ball to take it back to the centre spot. An incredible few minutes of drama here in Glasgow's East End. Dessers has nodded it home from close proximity. Fabulous ball in by Barisic. The header back across finds Dessers, and it's Celtic 2, Rangers 1, and it's game on again.
Oh, what a reply, and I mean the quality goal. I mean the pass out to Silva, he's at Johnson, he's twisting and turning, it's a reverse pass to Barisic. You want a bit of quality, he hangs it up, I think it's Dujon Sterling at the back post, knocks it back in, and there's Dessers just to reach up and get a header on it. The neck muscles are stretching, pop it into the net, and suddenly Rangers right back in it. The crowd has something to think about, and they dampen down a bit. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, it is incredible. It was a decisive move, wasn't it? Pace on it up that left-hand side. And then, of course, I'm looking at the back post for Celtic defensively, and they had about 3 or 4 bodies there, but nobody was capable of going and dealing with the cross. An Achilles heel for Celtic, and Rangers exploited it and puts them back in this game. We talked about the mentality. They'll look at that and say, yeah, a great reaction from them, but Celtic have really themselves to blame also. Didn't deal with the defensive situation.
You felt Rangers had to respond quickly, and they have done through Cyril Dessers, who manages to grab his 21st goal of the season. He's had some criticism across the campaign, but that certainly breathes new life into Rangers, and they've gone up the pitch and won a corner here down the left-hand side as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and they know that set pieces is an advantage for them also. So from that situation now, being 2 goals down, now they're on the front foot getting a goal back. 2-1, and now they're putting Celtic under pressure, and the crowd have hushed again here inside the stadium.
You must be shaking your head if you popped out to make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something like that. 3 goals in 5 minutes. 2-1 Celtic. Corner Rangers. James Tavernier in swinger towards the back post. And it was missed by Diamonde. He's got to do better than that, you feel. Just to the about 5 yards from goal. He's let it go over his head, really. He's barely anything, if anything, on it. And it's a goal kick to Celtic, who lead 2-1.
He's on the stretch, Diamonde. I think Suter's got to give him a call. He's getting running in on it, and he looks as if he's on it, but the chance is gone because Diamonde just glances at White. But
yeah, I'm looking at it from Celtic's perspective, and they're not capable of dealing with those balls in the back post for some reason. And you would expect that's something that they would have worked on over the last couple of weeks, because they have been found out in that position. But it's not happening for them, and they're vulnerable, and Rangers know it.
Well, we were kind of suggesting that the only thing missing in the game was goals at 0-0. There was loads of chances at both ends. Now we've had 3 of them. 2 for Celtic, 1 for Rangers. If Rangers win this game from here, it will go down as one of their greatest victories here. Dessers claims he was fouled on the near side. The ref doesn't agree, and Johnston bowls the throw-in back to Carter Vickers. Quite the 5 minutes, that, Packy.
Incredible. You know, I was going to say when Celtic were 2-0 up, now can Rangers actually hang in this game in any way? Because if it goes to another goal, it could end up like anything. To respond in the way they have has really made it an intense game still.
There's Scales, long ball, looking for Kyogo. Just kind of bounces away from him. Forrest looking to keep it alive. Barisic sees it behind for the goal kick. Rangers getting that goal. It's allowed them now, Dodgy, perhaps to dust themselves down. Even if they get a half-time, just the goal behind, it could have been so much worse for them.
I feared for them.
Just giving it away through Davis. Here's O'Reilly. Forrest picks up. Forrest squares it to Hatate. Hatate shoots from distance. It's well wide in the end. Butland died, but was pretty comfortable. I think he knew where that was going. Well past. Final minute of the 45. Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
You can't take your eyes off it. No, we're just going to talk about it. I feared for them, but then it was probably playing out the way I thought it was for 33, 34 minutes. And then suddenly Celtic scored, you're thinking, OK, this will test Rangers. Crowd right back in it now as well. 1-0 up. Then they get a quick second. You think, oh, this could be anything now. And they've had to respond. They've had to create a chance. And they've taken a goal which has just flipped it right back. I'm not saying Rangers' favour, but gets them right back in the game.
Joe Hart playing it short. It's not a great ball. Lundstrom smashes into the challenge on Johnston. Willie Collum didn't like it. He's got, I think, plenty of the ball there, but he's taken a heck of a lot of the Canada international as well. And John Lundstrom has a yellow card flashed in his face by Willie Collum.
Yeah, listen, that tackle in the older days would have been probably seen as a good tackle, but when he's caught him with his trailing leg. As he won the ball, there's no question, but he's caught him with his trailing leg, and that was it because he's gone in with momentum too. That's the problem, and Johnson is hurt.
Well, Dessers is trying to help him, but he's in no mood to be helped by the Rangers player, and they're checking for a possible red card here as well against John Lundstrom. After that, Keradine Itchan has a monitor. We don't have the benefit of that. Let's go Michael Stewart first in the studio. Mikey.
I mean, look, it's a huge call if they want to upgrade it, but I would not be surprised if Lundstrom finds himself going off. It's the force that he's diving into the tackle, and you know, had he won the ball and then followed through, perhaps he would get away with it. But he's right on Alistair Johnston's ankle, I think he could be getting sent off here.
Well, Willie Collins coming over to have a look at it himself.
Yeah, listen, the unfortunate thing about sliding tackles now, if you go in with that momentum, you are leaving yourself wide open.
Well, everyone down there, the Rangers coaching staff having a look round at Willie Collum. The monitor is up the tunnel here, and just beside the entrance to the tunnel. It wouldn't be the first time Willie Collum has stuck with his on-field decision, but here he goes. He's going to John Lundstrom, and the yellow's going to be upgraded to red here, and Rangers, having got themselves back into the game with Desser's goal, are down to 10. John Lundstrom sent off in first half stoppage time with his team trailing 2-1, and have Rangers title hopes disappeared up the tunnel, with Lundstrom, whose Rangers league career might well have just ended in ignominy here at Celtic Park. Celtic 2, 10-man Rangers now 1.
It's all happening. I mean, it was calm, it was going along quite a quiet derby, and then suddenly it's erupted, hasn't it? It's as simple as that. Listen, it's a modern day rules. I don't like to see it, but you know,
does he need to go into it in that area of the pitch? Does he need to go into it with that ferocity?
Yeah, but do you just stop yourself as well? You've decided, you've made up your mind. Yeah, you've got to try and stop yourself. He's saying that Johnson kind of stepped into him as well. I was watching him closely, but Willie Collins had a look at it. Mikey's described it to us. You've got to try and somehow in football now just stop yourself from going into tackling.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yeah, but you're always in a situation like that. If you want to go into that ferocity, you're always giving the officials something to look at, a decision to be made. Yeah, exactly. Well, Rangers down to 10, and Celtic with the lead and with the extra man as well. And they're on the ball, left angle of the box, rolled into the area. Here's O'Reilly, left of the penalty spot, one back by Davis. And now Sterling is brought crashing to the ground by Rio Hatate, who's yellow carded as well. Well, it's all kicking off now, and apologies for any language that you're offended by. It's a live football match. There's microphones all around the stadium. Passions are high. So, again, apologies for any offence caused by anything that you're hearing from the stands.
Yeah, and that time, I don't think Hatate needed to go to ground, and you know, you've seen what happened 2 seconds or a minute earlier, so he didn't need to go to ground. Obviously, the momentum wasn't there compared to Lundstrom, but he didn't need to go into that. He just go and stand up and close down and try and win the ball that way.
That's absolutely incredible that all this has come from a period in the match where it looked as though the two sides were managing okay on the pitch, heading towards the interval. A calm derby, relatively, and it has exploded big time, and that is half-time. 10 minutes ago, it was goalless, 11 against 11. The champions have taken a massive step to reclaiming their crown here. They lead at the interval. Matt O'Reilly in a Lundstrom own goal. Desser's pulling one back in a crazy 5-minute spell. But if Lundstrom thought his day was bad at that point, it got a whole lot worse as he careered into a reckless challenge on Alistair Johnston. Willie Collum booked him. And Stephen McLean, the video assistant, thought he should consider red. And when Collum came over to look at it, that is indeed the decision he came to. And of course, was the VAR for the game in December, when he was asked to have a look at a potential penalty, which he decided wasn't to be. On this occasion, he made that big decision, having seen the replays. But Celtic took their opportunities when they came their way. Eventually, both teams had chances. Silva had a couple for Rangers, O'Reilly for Celtic, Kyogo for Celtic. Butland's made a couple of incredible saves as well. And it's been a fascinating first half here at Celtic Park. But with the champions leading 2-1 now against 10 men, they hold all the aces as they look to effectively seal the title this afternoon against their bitter rivals and neighbours. Half-time at Celtic Park is Celtic 2, 10-man Rangers 1.
On digital radio.
Online at BBC Sport Scotland.
Or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
What a goal!
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Kenny McIntyre, Michael Stewart and Tom English alongside me in the studio. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening. Once this game at Celtic Park is done and dusted, we'll focus on the 3 o'clock kickoffs, some big games in the top flight, also some playoff matches. We will have you fully covered. Michael Stewart, an incredible ending to that half. You called it right away with that red card, and surely with that red card goes any chance that Rangers will win this title.
You would think so. It was going to be a tough task with 11 men on the park, but with 10 Celtic noses in front as well, the crowd behind them, you would imagine it's going to be an incredibly difficult task for Rangers to score 2 goals and not concede. It's, look, Tom was saying it's a ludicrous tackle to make, and I understand that train of thought, but equally, you've got to understand the context of the game. Rangers have just got themselves back to 2-1. There is a short pass there to Alistair Johnson. The ball is, almost there to go and be won. If Lundstrom gets the ball, all of a sudden you get the feeling within the Rangers team of, they're right up on top of this here. So I don't think it's a clear one where you can castigate John Lundstrom for going for the tackle, but it really is an all or nothing. If, as we've seen, you don't get it, you're running the risk of the red card. So in the cold light of, in the sort of the situation of looking back with 20/20 vision of hindsight, you'd say silly thing to do, but understandable in the moment to make that tackle. There is no question it's a red card. Absolutely no question.
No, you guys called it right away, Tom. And it's interesting, Lundstrom, he's one of the players that we praised, whose game certainly up to level when Philippe Clement came in. But in recent weeks, and there has been a lot of chat about his future, he's not been at it.
No, and he was a bit unlucky. He hasn't had a great 45 minutes, has he? 45 minutes. But the own goal and the red card. He has been offered. I think a number of Rangers players have been offered. Mm-hmm. I thought that on the red card, I just don't think the risk justified the reward in that situation. The way it was in the pitch, they've just kind of pulled it back to 2-1. He's a senior player. He's lunging in on a tackle that he doesn't really need to make. If it goes wrong, it's a red card. And sure enough, he's let his team down badly here. I just don't think I understand what Mikey's saying, but I just don't think it was worth the risk. And now I think they're goosed now.
Yeah, which is a completely fair point. It is, because the benefits are just what I was saying, that wins the tackle, it continues a feeling of momentum, but is that worthy of running that chance that you don't, and you're getting sent off? I would agree with Tom, but I don't think, you've got to just understand the emotions of the moment that add to the decision making. Yeah. It's a split second thing to go and make that decision. But it's a red. I mean, there is no doubt about it.
Yeah. But Michael, is it not the momentum that he went in what really caused that? Because he's caught him with his trailing. He won the ball.
Packy, there's no doubt it's a red card. We're not debating whether it's a red card or not. It is 100% a red card. He catches him just above the ankle. It's a potential breaker.
But then you have to look at the player and you say he has to make a decision to go for that ball, and that's made a second or two before he actually dives into the tackle. He's going in there with real pace. He wasn't as if he was going to go and close the ball down and intercept it. He was in there to make the tackle, and that's the problem. That was the problem for them.
Another part of the problem's in the area was where that's why you're saying the risk and reward, and quite rightly so. It's just one you're somehow in the modern day game, you've got to say, I'm going to go for that, and then stop yourself, because if you think you have a chance, it might be with force, with momentum, catching him with your trailing leg, because you could just be sent off these days. Yeah. The discipline has let Rangers down, lads, hasn't it? I mean, they were really good for 35 minutes, and then suddenly, but there was a couple of times where Lawrence dropped his man, Silva dropped his man, and that was the discipline. Just those couple of occasions created chances, and then Lundstrom has gone in and got himself sent off. So discipline is cost Rangers, not performance.
Lundstrom will be castigated for it. The world we live in, and he has made the wrong decision. Dodds is absolutely spot on. For a large chunk of that first half, Philippe Clement would have been very happy with how things were, panning out. They'd quietened the crowd, they'd taken the sting out of the game. But the first goal is just an absolutely brilliant goal from Celtic, from start to finish. The movement of the team, the rotation between the players, dragging Rangers players into areas they're not really wanting to be. They're ball watching for a split second, and then O'Reilly just gets that little bit of space on the edge of the box. Starts with Carter Vickers and Cal McGregor, just an extra wee pass to pull one of the Rangers players out of possession. Alistair Johnston dives in field. Matt O'Reilly goes out into the wide area and picks the ball up. James Forrest plays a little 1-2, and then the movement, Cal McGregor drives in behind the defence, all the running off the ball to help their teammates, constantly pushing and pulling Rangers players, as I said, out of position. And then Matt O'Reilly on the edge of the box, just that little bit of space in such a dangerous area. And it's a top drawer goal in terms of from a team's perspective, and then a wonderful finish from Matt O'Reilly.
I think when you look at, say, the 24th minute, the warning signs were there. Rangers made a good start to the game. Silva had a couple of good chances.
Yeah.
Sterling
Very good chances.
Sterling should have done better maybe in 5 or 6 minutes. But then 24th minute, that little movement between Maeda, Kyogo and O'Reilly, lovely shot, just wide. There's a chance for O'Reilly.
Yep.
31st minute, lovely move again. Celtic pinging it around, Rangers not picking them up. Kyogo, that shot that he got away very quickly, great save by Butland. The distress signals are beginning to be seen now.
Yes.
And then 5 minutes later, they nail it with O'Reilly. Brilliant goal, as Mikey said. Lovely move. Similar in a way that Celtic speed of thought, speed of movement was just too much for Rangers. And they didn't execute with Kyogo a few minutes earlier. They did with O'Reilly. Lovely finish. Brilliant goal.
I know Matt O'Reilly has been in the shortlist for Player of the Year, but I think it's fair to say he's not been at his brilliant best this season. He's a wonderful footballer, but we saw fantastic, that clip ball for Kyogo last week and the finish from Kyogo, and again today. This guy is a really special talent, and he turns it on in the big occasions.
Listen, he scored goals through it in this season. He went off the ball a little bit, I would say, for a wee period, but he's back again. I think in the last number of weeks, I think he's back to his real best. Even in the game today, at times his movement, but it's also his ability to do both the attacking side and the defensive side. He's a all-round midfielder, you've got to say, and he's got the height also to attract people's attention. There's no question about that. I think and that goal today, as Michael described it, beautiful strike, but knew exactly what he was doing. He had a couple of shots. He had a shot earlier on too that we thought he was going to put in the other side of the goal and tried to take the goalkeeper on with his eyes and just knocked it by the post with real pace. The free kick also.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Real pace.
Yeah.
It's not a huge surprise that Matt O'Reilly, slightly dipped for a month or so, because let's be honest, for a large chunk of the season he was carrying the team. Yeah. And now there's a little dip. The stronger players have come back into the side as well, and he just starts to find the rhythm. He's playing with better players again. It's not all on him to go and do everything, as it was for a good chunk of the season, by the way. But certainly I would say the last few weeks you're seeing the combination between those three players, maybe not directly in terms of linking up with each other, but just being able to play off of each other in regards to where are they taking the space up, where can I get into areas that are going to affect it. And the first one that Tom mentioned and Packy picked up on was a great example of that, the strike that he had on the edge of the box. It's just recognising where the space is. Maeda drags a number of players over, cut back to Hatate, and there's acres of space. That's just recognising good play from your teammates. Where's the space? I'm going to go and exploit it. And they were very, very close to it. And the goal is very similar.
Yeah, Michael, yeah. I love midfielders who do their job throughout the middle of the pitch, but they can get into scoring positions. They can get inside the box. They run beyond people too at times. And he's given that licence now because they've got McGregor sitting in the middle of the pitch. But he does it really well. And in the past, I think I described him a little bit like Billy Stark. A good player on the ball, knowledge of the game, but also goes into the box and gets him in there, and he'll score those vital goals for you. And that's how I describe Matt O'Reilly, the Billy Stark of the modern game.
And he's 23. You know, so again, to go back to it, no massive surprise that there's a dip off for a month or so. He's 23-year-old.
And he's so mature. I interviewed after his first Old Firm game, Tom, on the pitch at Celtic Park. He's a fantastic player, very down-to-earth guy as well. He's going to go places, isn't he?
Oh, he is. And who knows, a dip of form, could that have had something to do with the Atletico Madrid interest? Possibly. As you say, he doesn't look or sound like a young player, but he is a young player.
Yeah.
But he's a leader. He's very much a leader. I think he's going places, this kid. I think he's a terrific footballer, very intelligent, very creative, and loves the big occasion. And I think Celtic across the board, I know, Celtic and Rangers made it 2-1 and stayed in the game, but I think Celtic are far more economical with the ball. Their use of the ball is more accurate. I'm looking at Tavernier. He gives the ball away a lot. The stats are coming through here. He's the lowest passing accuracy percentage from any player on the pitch so far. Has given it away 47% of the time.
My goodness.
So
I would say though that his, and this is to sort of feed into the narrative of the first half an hour. Rangers were good. And Tavernier, his positioning was higher up the park. It caused a problem for Maeda because he wasn't cutting the balls out there. Tavernier was playing behind him off the shoulder. He wasn't going and helping Kyogo in terms of pressing one of the centre halves. He was in a bit of a sort of no man's land, and Tavernier was able to get out on a number of occasions down the wide area. So from Rangers' side of things were pretty good for that first spell of the game.
They were.
But now it's a nightmare scenario.
Well, Billy, you kick us off with this and the guys can jump in. So I'm thinking, take us into that Rangers dressing room. If this was the first Old Firm game of the season, perhaps the argument would be keep it tight, the last few minutes, then have a go and try and get the equaliser. But we know the situation, regardless of what Philippe Clement said pre-match, we know the situation here now, Billy. So how on earth does he go about trying to win this game here? On the other hand, it could turn into a rout.
I honestly think he tries to take a draw out this game now. That is by soaking up waves of attack, pressure, chances, goalkeeper playing well, and try to nick something and walk off here with a draw to mathematically keep it possible, because if it ends up the way it is, it's Celtic's title, simple as that. But it's been a strange old game. It was like 10-15 minutes of madness, whereas it was as calm and controlled a derby as you could ever imagine. You're thinking, right, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. It's no rocket science. It's going to be explosive to start with. The crowd are right behind them. Take them out after 5-10 minutes. That's what Rangers did. Everything we did talk about, they were going in a high press. It was a dead ball, a goalkeeper's kick, and then sitting off the game and springing on them, creating a couple of chances. Then the crowd get a wee bit nervous, and then suddenly goal again. The long ball catches Tavernier, and then the cross just with Lundstrom, and then the madness.
Cosland's coming up.
I was just going to say they need to get pace, and I was just
they need a spring
thinking,
now. They need an outlet, Michael. That's why McCausland is coming on.
Sterling needs to go into the middle of the park, and they need to get McCausland in the wide areas.
And they'll have to go chasing soon in this second half, and we know what Celtic are like on the counter. So this is fascinating. It's set up.
John Suter? Is that who's going off there?
Yeah.
Wow, this is going to be some second half.
Sterling's going to centre half,
Yeah, he's played there before, hasn't he? Yeah, it must be an injury surely to John Suter. There's a rough time with that. Do you know what? This is going to be some second half. Whatever happens, there is going to be a big story at the end of this half. Stay tuned to BBC Radio Scotland. Later in the day, we've got open all mics, but let's get back to our team at Celtic Park. Pat Bonner, Billy Dodds and Liam McLeod.
Well, it will be Celtic who will kick off a second half that could see them crowned all but champions today. They see this out as confirmation there of the change for Rangers. John Suter off, Ross McCausland on. Celtic will be same as Willie Collins. One last check and off we go. Celtic get the second half underway in the green and white hoops, going right to left towards the Jockstein stand, west end of the stadium. Rangers will shoot towards the Lisbon line end, left to right as we watch from the main. The sun breaks out again. It is a glorious day in Glasgow as Carter Vickers picks up. How on earth do Rangers turn this around with 10 men? Seen it happen, but not terribly often, and not with this kind of situation. So much at stake against a team that has looked back to near its best in recent weeks, particularly here at Celtic Park, as Hatate turns it all the way back to Hart. You can fully expect a little groan from the Celtic fans as Hatate's ball went back to his keeper. They want to go for blood here. They want more goals. They want to embarrass their rivals today and celebrate the title at the same time, as Carter Vickers slips it out to James Forrest over on that right-hand side, level with the 18-yard line, infield to McGregor. Now with Taylor. Taylor out to Maida, left-hand side. It was his ball that set up the OG that made it 2-0. Now 2-1. Maida had two. Hatate back to Taylor. Stepping away from Ross McCausland down the left-hand side. McCausland sticks with him. Taylor gets it in. McCausland catches Taylor. Ball came into the box. Clear, no free kick. Eventually goes out for a throw-in to Celtic on this near side. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment. Celtic starting on the front foot here, as you perhaps would expect. 2-1 up with the title in the palm of their hands. It's Carter Vickers against Dessers on the right. Rolls it low out to Forrest on the touchline. Level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box. Scampering in field. Faced by Barisic. Toes it to Hatate. Back the way to Carter Vickers. And he goes back to Scales. This is an expectant Celtic support now, if it wasn't already. Here's McGregor from Kyogo. Now it's with O'Reilly. Steps away from Diamonde. Shoots wide. Third time he's gone wide that side of the goal. And it stays Celtic 2. 10-man Rangers 1 on 47. But already the signs in the opening couple of minutes of the second half are oh so ominous for the visitors.
Yeah, Rangers are pinned back, obviously, with a man down. But great feet from Matt O'Reilly there. Beautiful feet. The approach play was perfect. Then he tried, I think, again to give the goalkeeper the eyes and didn't execute properly. Just goes well by the post, I think, this time from the goalkeeper's left-hand side.
Your Scales marauding forward, unchallenged. Rangers are sitting off. Here's Hatate from Scales at the edge of the box. He shoots, deflected, and away it goes for a Celtic corner. Jack Butland furious with his defence there. They simply allowed Rio Hatate the freedom and space to maraud to the edge of the box and shoot. That would have been interesting to see where that was going had it not been blocked.
I think it hit Davis again. He's blocked a few, but it was too easy. They're sitting too deep. I know it's 10 men. You're going to be pushed back. It's going to be waves of attack. Somehow they're going to have to get 5-10 yards higher, and that's what Philip Clement is trying to do down there. But left Hatate too much room, and he took the shot on Liam.
Hatate will take the corner, right-footed, clips it towards the back post, where it's punched away by Butland. McCausland gives chase. O'Reilly's over there as well. McCausland up the line and out for a Celtic throw-in over on the far side. Given they've got the numerical advantage, given the heat here as well, it's going to be so difficult for the 10 men to try and live with this Celtic side.
Yeah, and you know, the midfield, obviously they've got Tom Lawrence now dropped back into that Lundstrom position. He has got to almost be concentrated, and has he got that ability to stay with the game when it gets a little bit, obviously when Celtic's knocking that ball around.
Silva for Rangers up the line for Dessers, but Scales is there to roll it back to Joe Hart. 42nd appearance of the season for Liam Scales this afternoon. Stuff of dreams for him. When he was in pre-season at the club, it looked like a return to Aberdeen was in the offing. McGregor picks up and finds Scales. Everyone bar Joe Hart in Rangers territory. Scales rolls it forward to Hatate. Challenged by Sterling, he's laid it off to McGregor. Rolls it out to Forrest, wide on the right, level with the penalty spot. Back to the right angle of the box, McGregor on the left foot, shoots, blocked there by Lawrence. Breaks to Silva. Trying to put the pressure on Taylor, he frees himself from Greg Taylor. Maida gets back there, the engine and Dyson Maida's phenomenal. And he catches up with Silva and wins it back off him, and even gets a little pat in the head from the Portuguese there as well.
There's very few players, I think in this league anyway, that has good ability that he has from a defensive perspective to get back into position so quickly, and he does it with pace and strength.
I'm thinking, don't try and run him to Silva. He did well.
Here's O'Reilly in the box, goes down, penalty! Celtic penalty! Matt O'Reilly bundled to the deck. Ben Davies complains, but Celtic will have the chance from the spot here against the 10 men, 5 minutes into the second half, and this is shaping up to be quite the memorable afternoon for these Celtic supporters right now.
Yeah, it's a definite penalty. He's obviously gone. He's found a little bit of pocket of space again. He goes to take it onto his left.
Double checking
side.
It was Diamonde with the challenge.
It was Diamonde. I think he stuck out a leg and tripped Matt O'Reilly. It looks that way from me, the way that he went down. He kind of lost his footing.
Well, I mean, if this goes in, the roof could easily cave in on Rangers now. Even if it doesn't, they have been fallible from the spot at times this season. Matt O'Reilly has been the man to step up to the plate from 12 yards in recent games. He's still having a look to make sure that this is definitely a penalty kick here. O'Reilly's bouncing the ball. Has been made to wait a while here by Willie Collum and Stephen McLean, who's the video assistant. So we will wait and see what the decision is. He's got his hand up to his mouth in the whistle there, Willie Collum, but
it's taking a while, isn't it?
Teasing us, yeah. Teasing Matt O'Reilly.
The question, he tripped over himself. I'm not sure, but it looked as if he was tripped. It looked as if he lost his footing inside the box.
Yeah, what they'll be looking at is the intent from Diamande, because there is definitely contact, so it's not as though O'Reilly trips over his own feet, but it's the fact that Diamande's pretty much just standing there as O'Reilly pulls his
he's
foot
going to
back.
come and have a look.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised that he's having a look at this, because there is enough doubt for me that it is a penalty. This is what Willie Collum will be looking at. Did O'Reilly just kick Diamande's standing foot?
Stephen McLean obviously thinks so.
Diamande's saying I just stood my ground. That's what he's pointing out. But Johnny Lundstrom also said that, you know, Johnson stepped into him. So players will come out with excuses. But he's having a look anyway. It's a big call, huge call.
Yeah, because if he gives it and Celtic score it, it's done.
Well, if he's kicked his foot, remember back to that Lager-Belka?
Yeah, the first game between them, Ibrox.
It wasn't inside the box, it was well outside the box. That was disallowed because of him almost kicking into Desser's foot. That was...
Well, Brendan Rodgers is down there, and he is talking to the fourth official, who's Don Robertson, this afternoon. And again, apologies if you're offended by any of the language that you're hearing, or anything you're hearing in the stands. It is a live football match, and beyond our control, certainly. Yeah, Willie Collum's made his mind up now. He's had a chance to look at the replays, and he stands by his decision. And Celtic have a penalty. Confirmed. It's a foul. And it's a penalty to Celtic, who already lead the 10 men 2-1.
Big call from Willie Collum. You know, normally the referees go to the monitor, and I know it should be the right decision.
He must have had maybe 5 or 6.
But he's called it now himself, so interesting. Be interesting to see what the boys think in the studio.
Well, we'll find out later on. Matt O'Reilly with a chance then. And what a chance it is to potentially seal the title. The Celtic supporters, all 60,000 of them, eyes lasered in on Matt O'Reilly. Left-footed penalty against Butland. Here he goes! Saved! Butland saves! Throws himself to his left and celebrates! Butland denies O'Reilly! It's not done just yet! It stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1 on 54.
Yeah, he read it. He'd gone the right way. Ball was about a yard off the pitch, off the grass, and it allowed him to get a good double hand, knock it away to safety. Not the best penalty for Matt O'Reilly. He had to wait a long time before he had to take it, but this game has had almost everything so far.
He read them like a book, and you know what, just when you think it's done, this game never surprises. It's incredible.
That was Celtic's 17th penalty of the season. They've only scored 11 of them. Here they come again though. Forrest to the right, O'Reilly. His ball in is blocked by Barisic, and that goes out of play for a Celtic throw in about level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box.
Yeah, Rangers just hanging by a thread in this championship, you would say. They're still in this game. Celtic have had the opportunity to put it to bed really with a 3-1 scoreline, but it hasn't happened.
It's unlikely Matt O'Reilly's going to be worried too much about that in the shake-up, but we shall see. Johnston crosses in, headed away by Davies. Carter Vickers heads towards goal, headed away by Dujon Sterling. McGregor's onto it, keeps it out keeps this attack alive to Johnston, back to McGregor, looks up at the goal, rolls it to Kyogo, first time ball looking for Forrest, but Barisic digs it out, and out for a throw-in on this near side to the champions.
Yeah, Rangers just pinned in their own, and Silly playing those little 1-2s in around the box, hoping to get somebody in, and that was good. I think it was Ben Davis that time again that cleared.
I'll be amazed if they survive sitting this deep for the second 45. I know they're pushed back, but somehow
they'll find their way through. They normally do. To Celtic, Kyogo's on the run. Scales decides to just play the safer option, square to Carter Vickers. Out to O'Reilly, first time into the feet of Johnson, the right angle in the box. It's Forrest, can't find Hatate, and it comes right through to Butland, but it does draw applause from Brendan Rodgers. Jack Butland celebrated, saving that penalty wildly there. His team
so.
2-1 down, says the keeper, of course.
No, rightly so, because he keeps his team in it, you know, and it was a big save, but you know, as I say, it was a penalty to be saved because it wasn't hit with brilliant pace, unlike Matt O'Reilly, and it was at the right height and the right position for him when he goes the right way.
How impacted are you, Billy, when you're made to wait to take a penalty? I think like Ryan Duncan in the Scottish Cup semi there for Aberdeen against Celtic.
it's not ideal. There's all sorts going through your mind, and then the delay, but he knew what side he was putting it. It was just Butland that he's obviously looked at his penalties, he's changed them up, and he's guessed the right way, made it look easy.
Maida, level with the Rangers 18, rolls it back to McGregor. And now left-footed ball finds O'Reilly, right-hand side of the box, breaks back inside to Johnston, cuts it back, looking for Kyogo, just wouldn't fall for him, Sterling, and then good defending by Dijon Sterling because he was under pressure there, huge pressure from Kyogo. He managed to get goal side of him and dig it out, and it stays 2-1 to the home team. 57.5 on the clock. Let's get news of Rangers changes from Keredin Idsan.
New ideas, new energy for Rangers. Ridvan Yilmaz is coming on, as is Nico Raskin.
We're having a look at a handball here in the box. Now, I was saying it was good defending by Sterling, but I'm assuming that there's a suggestion that this has bounced off Jude John Sterling's arm.
No, play on.
Game on again. There was a check though, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, thank you. Here is Greg Taylor, who finds Hatate. He rolls it back to Carter Vickers right at the centre circle. He's got options ahead of him in O'Reilly, and Kyogo goes back the way, eventually from O'Reilly to McGregor, and now Taylor. McCausland comes to meet him, squares it to O'Reilly. Looks up, finds Taylor. First time low ball back to Carter Vickers and then to Johnston. On that right-hand side, Celtic leading 2-1, and it's all them, and it's McGregor from distance. Butland holds on at the second attempt. That was aimed for the bottom right corner, and it stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
Yeah, good pace on it, but it was straight really at Butland. You'd be really surprised if that slid under him, because it was right down to his left-hand side, and all he'd do is to collapse.
Long ball from Butland, couldn't find Silva. Johnston's header forward, finds Forrest. It's back to Johnston. I mean, James Forrest, I'm amazed he's not played more football this season, particularly when Leo Labada was out in the first half of the campaign. He's been back in and looks as though he's never been away. There's McGregor, to Forrest, central area, looks up at goal, shoots, takes a deflection, and it goes! Flags up though, it was Maida. He was offside. And it stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1. We're a minute shy of the hour here.
That would have been on point from Neil Liam. We've talked about Forrest, picks up, drives forward, hits a strike. He did look offside, he looked a couple of yards when the ball was struck. I was watching it, but as you've seen, they let it play out. He sticks it away, Maeda, but a couple of yards offside. Rangers hanging on grimly.
Yeah, I mean, this is something they're going to have to hope, I suppose, Billy, that the steam evaporates from the Celtic train right now, because they'll want to be in a position where they go into the last, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes.
I would say 10, 15.
Maybe even 10, 15, where they're still in the match.
Where they're thinking it's still 2-1. Let's just open up now.
Barisic, Lawrence off, Raskin and Ridvan Yilmaz come on.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Raskin's come on in the middle of the pitch. You know, you just give a wee bit more solid base in there in the middle of the pitch with Lawrence coming off.
It's a good point from you. I don't think Lawrence has got that discipline. We saw it with 11 men when he switched off, so with 10 you're asking for a lot, and Raskin not had a lot of football, good football player. They need him right now.
Yeah, it's another the Rangers haven't really been able to call upon for much of this season. McGregor forward, there's Kyogo, takes it down just outside the centre circle in his own half. Good footwork from him, he's done really well. Kyogo Furuhashi had a double last week. First time he scored more than once in a match in almost a year. When he got his 2 against Hearts last week, scored more against Hearts than anyone else. Next best against Rangers. Here's Forrest, O'Reilly, little touch is good. It's Johnston attacking Silva on the right-hand side of the box. The Rangers number 7 wins it back and drives forward, then loses it, but it's bounced off a Celtic man and out for a Rangers throw-in over on that far side. 61 on the clock, Celtic 2, Rangers 1. The other match is coming up in just over an hour. Hearts, Dundee, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Livingston, St Johnstone, Ross County, Motherwell in the Premiership. Hibs, Aberdeen to come tomorrow. Open all mics is on from 3. Also get that on the TV channel as well. And of course the playoffs are underway as well. Championship playoffs, League One playoffs, Pyramid playoffs, news of that all to come on Sportsound this afternoon once we're done here at Celtic Park. Carter Vickers shepherds the ball behind for a goal kick. Long ball aimed for Dessers. Hart takes quickly and finds Scales. Walking pace up towards the halfway line. Left of the centre circle. Steps into Rangers territory. Shifts it forward to Hatate. Back to Scales. To the feet of McGregor. First time to Scales. To McGregor again. And now Hatate. Celtic popping it around with a confidence you would expect from defending champions. And as things stand, champions elect again. McGregor clips it forward, looking for Maida, overhits it though. Behind it goes for the goal kick, and it stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1 on 62.
Yeah, and listen, Celtic are desperate for that third goal, aren't they, to kill this game off. They've got lots and lots of possession. Rangers have hung in there, they've had blocks in, they've had interceptions. And of course the missed penalty has just given them that lifeline. And until this game is killed for Celtic, there'll be a bit of nerves probably near the end.
Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland, the highlights to come tonight on Sportscene at 7:30, and of all the other 4 Premiership matches taking place this afternoon. Here's Hatate to Kyogo, lovely little feint from Kyogo away from Davis, but Sterling gets in the way and shifts it out to Yilmaz, who is taken to the ground by Kyogo, and Rangers have a free kick. And have Rangers managed to weather the storm? They face a Matt O'Reilly penalty kick as well, which Butland saved. They're still in this. The title hopes are on life support, but they're still in this.
Yeah, you never say never, but the way this game's going, but they've got through the last 15 minutes or so, but there's 2 sides that they still have to score a goal as well and create, try to manufacture something.
They've got to score twice without reply, really, realistically.
I think they would take a draw after the way it's gone.
It is McGregor out to that right-hand side, rolls it out onto the touchline for Forrest. And back to McGregor. Infield to Carter Vickers, right of the centre circle. Forward, side-footed to Taylor, the left-back, finding himself in a right midfield position there. He loves to do that, of course. As Carter Vickers finds McGregor into Scales. Celtic fans are pining for more goals here. They don't just want to win this, they want to destroy Rangers.
And their goal would do to William, that's for sure.
There's O'Reilly on the turn, slips it to Johnston, right-hand side of the box, pulls it across, and might have been a little flick away there by one of the Rangers players. Going out of play on this near side. Okay, in fact, it's gone off the Celtic man last, so it'll be a Rangers throw-in. On this near side, Willie Collum appears to have stopped play momentarily.
I think there's going to be a check here.
There was a quick one, been on the back bench. Game on though. They're looking for another Celtic penalty there. Celtic 2, Rangers 1, 25 of the 90 to play. And it's James Tavernier level with his own 18-yard line on this main stand side. Bowls it up the line. Dessers flicks on, looking for Silva. Headed forward by Carter Vickers, breaks to Raskin. Here's Silva. Tries to press it forward towards Dessers. Can't find him, nowhere near finding him. Dessers had gone too early anyway.
Yeah.
And it's now with McGregor on the halfway line. Kyogo back to Carter Vickers. Again, the groans from the Celtic fans. A win will do them. A win will do them today. We want more. It is Forrest Level with the 18 on the right-hand side to McGregor. Now it's with Taylor on the left. Little ball to Johnston. Johnston with a little clip forward. It's O'Reilly with his back to goal. 7 yards out, but it's cleared. Out to the right, Carter Vickers, and now it's McGregor. 65.5 played. 2-1 to Celtic. It's McGregor. Forward to Kyogo on the turn. He shoots and it's blocked. Now it's with Taylor. Left foot clip ball in and right to the back post area, and Yilmaz had to deal with it and puts it behind for the corner with James Forrest lurking behind him.
You would expect that, you know, that Rangers will sort of almost give up on something here, but they've hung on well because Celtic have got so much dominance, and they're trying little balls in around the box, little penetrating passes, balls over the top, all of that, and there's going to be one opportunity that they would take, but yeah, you're right.
Rangers are clock watching though, aren't they? They're thinking get to 80 and we'll open up.
Scales for Celtic, turning it out to this near side, takes a touch though and breaks Tavernier's way. He's able to clear, but he can only put it straight back to Liam Scales, who controls in the halfway line. Squares it to Carter Vickers, now to the right of the circle for Johnston. Low ball, down the right here goes Forrest. Forrest against Silva, he's not a defender. Into the box, Forrest on the left, back onto the right. Forrest, has he overcooked it this time? He goes down, corner of Silva. To be fair, Rangers are defending so deeply, it's very difficult for Celtic, the way they're playing, to pop a way through, to poke a way through.
Yeah, and Rangers have not got much distance to cover with how tight they're playing. But it was a real chance for Tavernier to put Dessers in as well, just undercooked the pass.
O'Reilly with the cross ball, Butland will get onto it though, and it will stay 2-1 Celtic, 67 played at Celtic Park. The Celtic fans have quietened down a little bit recently, despite the fact their team has almost exclusive possession. McGregor was back, and then Johnston on the slide. Dessers was almost in. Cyril Dessers was denied his goal against Celtic at Ibrox a month ago. It was he who gave Rangers a whole lot of hope before John Lundstrom in double quick time took a lot of that hope away from them. Rangers down to 10 since the last knock-ins of the first half. That incredible 5-minute spell where all 3 goals went in. Celtic continue to lead 2-1. O'Reilly and the Lundstrom own goal doing the damage. And here's Forrest down the right-hand side, faced by Silva. Level with the Rangers 18. Pushes it back low along the grass to Carter Vickers. Short ball to McGregor. Square ball for Scales. Back to Carter Vickers.
I don't know why McGregor or Taylor wants to play in there now at this moment, and it allows almost Rangers players to be in a better distance from him. I would go a little bit wider and get a ball and do your 2v1s in the wide areas where they're really stretched.
Well, Celtic giving it away cheaply. It's a long ball up to Dessers. He's held it up well, and that's been an area of criticism for him this season. Pass wasn't great, comes off McGregor, breaks to McCausland's a really poor touch. Rather than shoot first time, he's tried to take a touch, get it onto his left side, and Celtic are able to get it clear out for a Rangers throw-in on this near side. It stays 2-1 to the home team.
Sorry,
I can't believe
that
he's not just throwing the boot at it and trying to hit it, because Hart's coming across. Dessers does brilliantly up the line, holds it up, turns inside, tries to hit the crossfield pass, spins up in the air. McCausland's read it. It's a 1-on-1 situation. Yeah, it's a tough chance. It's at the angle, it's on the volley, but he tries to bring it down and the chance is gone.
Silva wins it off Johnston the far side. He's along the 18-yard line. He skies it high over the bar. The Dessers and McCausland waiting in the middle. But it will be a goal kick to Celtic, and it's Celtic 2, Rangers 1. But just a couple of little warning signs for Celtic just in the last minute or so as Brendan Rodgers looks to his bench. Kerridine.
Yes, Adam Ida is coming on, and I think it's going to be Kyogo who's taken off. So fresh legs for Rangers to worry about up front in these last 20 minutes with its 2-1 scoreline.
Well, listen, it's a different type of player, isn't it? And you can throw maybe a ball into the box now, you know, with that little bit of height in there. Maybe an early cross, just to change it up a little bit, because at the moment that they're kind of struggling, Celtic, to break down the Rangers back. You could say back probably 4, 5, 6 at times.
And Brendan Rodgers down there at the edge of his technical area, he patrols that little part of it. His arms raised in celebration when those 2 goals went in. Massive goals. It hasn't been the seamless return that he would have hoped for, and McGregor's given it away, and he's had a little tug back at Raskin. It's going to be a yellow for the Celtic captain after all that. He was sloppy at Ibrox, you'll remember, for Rangers' second goal. He was sloppy there as well. It's very unlike him. And Keradine can bring us news of another Celtic change.
Yeah, we told you about Ida for Kyogo. That's happening right now. Nicholas Kuhn is also going to come on for James Forrest as Celtic change things up with 20 minutes to go, looking for that killer third goal.
Yeah, third goal does it. Rangers can somehow escape here with a draw. It's still massive advantage Celtic, and there's only 2 games left given the goal difference and everything else, but they do have that problematic fixture at Rugby Park on Wednesday night, 24 hours after Rangers host Dundee. But when you look at the final set of fixtures, and St Mirren have had a wonderful season, but I think out of the 2 fixtures on the final day, Celtic would prefer to be home to St Mirren than visiting Hearts, as Rangers are. A week today, Forrest comes off and Nicholas Kuhn comes on, and that double change is made. 71 minutes played. Just the 1-goal lead though for Celtic, as Sterling finds Tavernier, who flicks it in field, cut out by Maida. Another all-action performance from Daisen Maida, making his first start since that injury that kept him out a few weeks. Looked like his season was over actually. Sterling knocks it high back to his goalkeeper against the noise from the Celtic fans there. Butland rifles it high forward with the left foot into the Celtic half. One in the air by Johnston. Free kick, says Willie Collum. And it will be a Celtic free kick over on the far side.
Silva does some good things, doesn't he, and crazy things. I mean, Rangers punt up the park. If he just goes for the ball willingly, but he's only watching Johnson. The referee's going to give the foul. That's why he infuriates you at times.
Hello, good afternoon to listeners who've been tuned into Off the Ball on BBC Radio Scotland FM. Good to have you with us here at Celtic Park. The champions lead the challengers by 2-1. O'Reilly in an own goal. Desser's pulled one back. Lundstrom sent off, all just before half-time. Here comes Kuhn, he's just on, dances away from 2 challenges, shoots for goal, and there's a block there as it whips over the bar for the corner. I think it's Sterling is in the way, and it's going to be a Celtic corner. They've bossed things since the break. They've had a penalty to add to their lead, saved by Butland from O'Reilly. They just can't put Rangers to bed as yet.
No, and fresh legs with Kuhn, of course, up against Vilmos, but he's been fresh also coming off the bench. So
Johnston's down.
A good matchup.
Johnston's down off the ball.
He was stretching, wasn't he, earlier on?
Keradine Idsan's our pitch side reporter, if you're just joining us, and Celtic are going to make another change, just having made a double change a moment ago.
Tony Ralston is coming on for Alistair Johnson, who I wonder is maybe feeling the after effects of that Lundstrom challenge that brought the red card at the end of the first half. He's limping off. Ralston will be coming on. Scott Wright is coming on for Rangers to try and give them some extra energy and extra impetus as they try to keep their title challenge alive in these last 16 minutes or so.
Yeah, sorry Keradine. Wright gives them an out ball for the closing stages of the game as the Celtic supporters rise to acclaim Alistair Johnston. He'll be replaced by Tony Ralston, who, as things stands, looks a shoe-in for the Scotland squad that's going to the European Championship finals next month, given the problems at right back. So I think Steve Clarke would like to see him get some action. And Silva is replaced by Wright for Rangers. 16 minutes to play of the 90. Celtic leading 2-1 against the 10 men. Celtic corner, and it's Hatate who's over it on this main stand side as they attack the goal to the left. So they've not managed to breach since the break. In it comes. Butland goes up, doesn't really get much on it. The ref blows the whistle and Rangers will have a free kick inside their own penalty area. So, Billy, you mentioned it, the last 15 minutes, that's upon us now in the game. How do you read it if you're Philippe Clement?
Well, you've got them to where you want, because they've had to ride a lot of course. Andy said Celtic have battered them, dominated them. You'd expect that. They're down to 10. Another goal and the game is gone, but they're still hanging in there. So it's a case of, can you go and create something? With a couple of opportunities in the last 5 minutes or so, especially McCausland not taking on the volley, but you've just got to make sure you stay high enough where you can create something if you nick the ball now.
Yeah, Celtic are just over the 70% possession mark right now. That. And here's a chance for Rangers pilfering it back in the midfield. As Billy was saying, it's Diamonde flicking it through. Look at for Dessers, cut out by Scales. And foul by Diamonde. on McGregor. Celtic fans want him booked. It's just a free kick though. The Rangers manager down there at the centre point of his technical area.
Hatate hasn't had the influence in the game today as we've seen him before. He's got caught a few times on the ball and he hasn't really been an influence.
Celtic with Kuhn on the right-hand side, back to Ralston, then on to halfway for Carter Vickers. Everyone bar Joe Hart is in the Rangers half. Scales slips it to his right. Carter Vickers out to the touchline for Kuhn. Not long on for Forrest. They've been disappointed to have lost his starting place today with Daisen Maida taking it. And now it's Taylor out to that right-hand side for Ralston. Back to Carter Vickers. Short ball forward to McGregor, now square into the centre circle for Liam Scales. Celtic trying to find a way through. Fans want it to happen a bit quicker than it is. Here's Maida taking on McCausland down the far side. Low ball in, cut out by Sterling at the expense of yet another Celtic corner kick down on this near side.
I still don't get the position of Greg Taylor. You know, he's playing consistently.
He's crowding it, isn't he?
He's almost doing exactly what Rangers want because they're very compact. They're keeping their lines really tight. The distances between the midfielders, they're down to 10 men. Stretched them, really stretched them, and have them run bigger distances.
Short corner, Hatate to Taylor. Back to Hatate. Oh, it's a poor touch, and Scott Wright's onto it like a whip it down this right-hand side. Driving across halfway, 2-on-2 here. Wright's going himself. He's in behind McGregor, right-hand side of the box. He shoots, blocked by the Celtic captain. Hatate gets back. It's going to go out for a corner, though. On this near side, Scott Wright slaps the turf in frustration. There just didn't seem to be a point where Cyril Dessers was in a position for a pass. It stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1. But yet another warning to Celtic.
Yeah, Hatate getting caught on the ball again. Obviously he got back to put the block in, but he's given away a needless corner, I've got to say too.
He delayed the shot, didn't he? Because once he drove, and he drove about 30 yards, he got a yard on McGregor, pulled the trigger, but he let McGregor get back and block it for the corner.
Which will be taken by Yilmaz on this near side, left-footed, bends it in, Hart comes, gets a punch onto it. We'll go out for a corner on the other side here. Tavernier will take this one over in that northeast corner of Celtic Park over there on the Rangers left. 78 minutes just about played in the Glasgow sunshine. In swinging corner coming up here from James Tavernier. You've got plenty inside the 6-yard area. It's very congested in there, and I think Tavernier is having to leave the corner flag area. There are things being thrown at him.
I saw 2 or 3 bounce, Liam.
Yeah, stupidity.
And it's over there in the, shall we say, the most vocal part of Celtic Park, that safe standing section. Tavernier will take, and it comes, it's headed down into the ground by Ida. He gets a second header onto it, back out it comes to Tavernier though. Around about the 18-yard line, tries to reverse it towards one of his teammates, the chip ball, but he was on a different wavelength to the rest of them, and Celtic with Hart getting it clear. Willie Collin blows the whistle to stop a Celtic counter, and Rangers have a free kick over on this near side. Just about 11 of the 90 left. Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
He was well up and played there, Willie Collin, wasn't he?
Yeah, did well.
Sorry, Packy. Cardine change.
Yeah, the guy just saying that Hatate hasn't had his normal impact. He's coming off. It's Tomoki who's coming on for Celtic. Tomoki Iwata to replace his fellow countryman Reo Hatate, who's not had his best game in a Celtic shirt.
We saw Tomoki Iwata in the team when Callum McGregor was out injured for those couple of months. He's had plenty game time recently. Hatate comes off, gets a slap of the hands from his manager, and Rangers have a free kick. Suddenly everyone bar Jack Butland's in the Celtic half. Huge line of players, a really high line this. As Tavernier prepares to take, heading towards the final 10. Right-footed, bends it in, it's really deep, too deep for everyone. Raskin trying to keep it in play. He can only knock it out for a throw-in on the far side rather than the goal kick. The corner flag taken out of its hole on the far side by the Belgian. Eventually it's popped back in seamlessly by Anthony Ralston. And it will be a throw-in for Celtic, level with their own penalty spot over on the far side. Loads of football to come on Sportsound this afternoon. The business end of the campaign, the prize is starting to be handed out. Premiership at 3 o'clock, open all mics. Hearts, Dundee, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Livingston, St Johnstone, Ross County, Motherwell. Championship playoffs, Hamilton, Alloa 2-2 after the first leg. Caley Thistle, Montrose 0-0 after the first leg. The League One playoffs, Peterhead Spartans, the visitors in the second leg, have a 2-1 lead from last week, and Stirling Albion trailing Dumbarton 2-1 going into the second leg of that League One playoff semi. And the Pyramid playoff final, East Kilbride, Stranraer, the first leg of that. Can Stranraer keep their place in the SPFL, or will East Kilbride become the latest side from either the Highland or Lowland League to come up, the Lowland League champions against the side that finished bottom of League Two? All that to come later. It's the closing stages here at Celtic Park, and Rangers having their best period of the second half as they try and find a leveller. They've kept Celtic at bay. Ridvan Yilmaz with the free kick, comes towards the edge of the box, beats everyone. Tavernier comes out to the near side to get onto it. Maida for company, rolls it back to Sterling, square ball for Diamonde. Diamonde looks up, flights it out onto the left-hand side. It's a little bit too high for right, although he's done well to head it back to Yilmaz, but it's played back off Yilmaz by Kuhn, and that will be a free kick to Celtic on the far side. When Celtic right now are mere minutes away from effectively winning the title. Yeah. So much at stake.
Yeah, but it's been a nervy finish. Billy called it. You know, obviously Rangers wanting to get into that last 10, 15 minutes and then trying to get something from it, whether it's going to be a set piece or getting players higher up the pitch. And that Celtic just struggled to put them away in this game.
Another change coming for Rangers. I'll get to Carradine in a moment, but here comes Celtic down the right-hand side with Kuhn, level with the penalty spot, down to Ralston, and comes the ball. There's the chance, and Ida can't turn it home. He's about 2 yards from goal, and Butland smothers somehow, and it stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
Oh, he's got to score. I think he's taken his eye off it. It's kind of almost bumped up on him, and he lost his orientation, didn't know where the ball was.
Right. Was ransacked in the midfield, and Willie Collum didn't like the challenge by Ewata, and that's going to be a free kick to Rangers. And they're going to make the change, Carradine, their last one.
Last throw of the dice for Rangers. Kumar Roof coming on for Cyril Dessers, who's done quite a shift for Rangers. Can Roof find the goal to keep this title race alive?
I just wonder if you're at kind of gamble time and keep as many forward players as you've got on the pitch.
I was thinking.
It's like a cup final if you're down a goal with minutes to go. It's
just go for it. Yeah,
just go for it.
I mean, it was winner bust coming into this for Rangers. A draw is no real good to them, but it would at least, as Clement said before the game, keep the title race alive officially. Then comes the free kick to the edge of the box. Raskin with a header across the left of the penalty spot. It's half away. Diamonde shoots, and McGregor's taking the full force of that Diamonde shot there. He's wanting a stoppage in play, McGregor. Celtic have it in the right-hand side of their own penalty box. Carter Vickers goes down, fouled by Roof. Free kick Celtic. McGregor's back in his feet. He seems okay, having looked to have been initially winded there. 83.5 on the clock. Celtic 2, 10-man Rangers 1. It's actually, as a standalone performance here, and they've had to withstand the penalty. Butland makes a great save. It's actually not been the worst performance by Rangers in this second half if you're down to 10 men.
Yeah. They've played it perfectly. I mean, time-wise as well. You can't go after them. You've got to sit deep. I thought they sat really deep, but they get through that period. Then they get a bit of luck where Celtic miss the penalty. That gives them a little kind of surge of energy. And then later on in the game, they got a couple of opportunities where they could have maybe got a shot at goal just to turn it, but they've got them time-wise. Rangers, I know they're 2-1 down to where they would have wanted them.
Rangers giving it away cheaply though. Here's Ida, right-hand side. Maida wants it in the middle, and Sterling gets in the way and puts it behind for the corner. A certain goal was waiting for Daizen Maida. It stays 2-1. Celtic have a corner with 5.5 of the 90 to play.
How good's he been, Pat? Dujon Sterling.
Oh, brilliant. But see if Maeda had just checked back out, and that would have just opened up the whole space for himself. He tried to go in the narrow side, and it was cut out.
Yeah, Sterling was going line, and there was no chance.
Matt O'Reilly with the corner into the 6-yard area. It's claimed well by Jack Butland though, and it's bowled out quickly here for Raskin. Forward to McCausland. His touch lets him down, and it goes out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. And Callum McGregor's trying to get the fans going down below us. He'll whip them up into a frenzy for one last push towards the 23-24 Premiership title, which as it stands is all but Celtic's. Ida flicks, Maida with a touch forward, Sterling looking to get there. He gets just enough, and then Davis helps him out and gets it away. Picked up by Nicholas Kuhn. In this right central area, midway inside Rangers territory. Now Iwata out to the right-hand side for Ralston. Down the line, O'Reilly. It's a low ball in. Ida's there, and then effort's blocked by Davis. That takes the sting out of it. Butland holds on. Ida's had a couple of opportunities to seal the deal here. He can't do that though. It's still not been delivered. It stays Celtic 2 though. Rangers 1.
Yeah, it was a good run to the near post. Just as he about to pull the trigger, good block from Davis getting across. A desperate block, but it was a good block just to keep Rangers, because I think if Ida had the opportunity, it was a back of the net. It would have taken a big save from Jack Butland.
And Celtic have restored some control to proceedings after a Rangers flurry, but they've given it away in the far side. A good slide challenge by Ralston there. He breaks the Kuhn, and now it's Ralston who rolls it back to Carter Vickers, who finds Hart. Hart taking his time, Roof putting the pressure on, and Scales gets it away. And they take a chance like this at this stage of the season. And Taylor's been caught, and he's fortunate as he bounces back up. The ricochet works his way. Now Maida's burning away from Sterling down the left-hand side. Sterling as well puts it behind for the corner. The Celtic fans desperate for their team to score a third goal, which would finish this.
Well, that was close with Kemar Roof, because the coolness nearly turned into calamity for the goalkeeper, Hart, because that was close to just get a nick on it.
Joe Hart, coolest man on the pitch.
Yeah, had to be. Look at that putt.
Yeah. Matt O'Reilly over the corner. Time running out for Rangers, less than 3 of the 90 to go. Taylor is taking the short one, and Diamonde given away, and was given away by O'Reilly to Diamonde. He's then tripped, and that's a Rangers free kick.
That's poor from the corner. They didn't work it properly at all, and they give Rangers back.
We sloppy, Patty, haven't they, Celtic? They've been sloppy the last 15, 20 minutes.
It's almost nerves. It's kicked in a little bit. You can see it in the crowd. You can see it from the players, and that they should be able to manage things out so much better than they have.
Actually played a lot better against Hearts last week. He's Maida fouls Diamonde right in the centre circle.
That's when they're giving away silly free kicks. They're allowing Rangers then
to get men
into that sort of kind of almost forward position. They've taken a short this time.
And plus with a few VAR checks and substitutions, a wee bit of injury time added on here.
Yeah, that's another foul. And again, it's on Diamonde. Rangers free kick, Tavernier over it, right of the centre circle. It's not in areas that's going to hurt Celtic. Yeah, immediately, certainly.
They'll launch it into the box. They've got to get players forward.
Tavernier with it. 88.5 played. Headed away by Ralston. Now Nicholas Kuhn has it under control. Driving down that right-hand side. Support is making its way up towards the Rangers box. Kuhn delivers. Maida controls in the chest. Left-footed. Scores! The flag goes up.
Free kick, I think.
Flag's gone up. And it's not going to count. It stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
Was it offside or a handball?
Flag's up for offside.
He's offside. Shouldn't be offside. He should not be offside in that position. He's looking along the line. He's free. Just step out, because everybody else is running back towards the goal. It's not as if they've stepped up in any shape or form. They've just held their line maybe, but he shouldn't be offside.
90th minute. The Celtic fans thought that was it. They thought that was their latest win here over their rivals. They thought that was the title right there. They might be celebrating that in a matter of minutes anyway. Raskin up and under. Headed away by Carter Vickers. Rangers require probably 3 snookers if they lose this game. And Celtic to lose both games and overturn the goal difference. McCausland has kept it in, says the assistant, so does the ref, and here's Wright trying to slip it through. It's cut out and cleared by Celtic, and out for a throw into Rangers on the far side. And all eyes on the 4th official, Don Robertson, to tell us how much stoppage time there's going to be, because that's all Rangers are going to have left to play with. 7 minutes added. 7 minutes left.
We knew that with the VAR checks, but McCausland has a real opportunity once he keeps it in Celtic fans going crazy, drives on the pitch. I think Roofe makes a great run. He's got to reverse it to him and he rolls it to right, but this time Roofe, his run, he's going to be offside.
Here's McCausland, gets it from Raskin down the right of the Celtic box, looks up, fires it across, Scales with the outstretched leg, clears. McGregor prevents the corner, flicked away by Taylor. Sterling loses out to Maida. He's going to bounce out for a throw into Rangers, run about the halfway line.
I think McCausland again has got to do more. He's picked the ball up, he's gone beyond the Celtic players' drive in the pitch and really creating. He runs like kind of square and then just crosses it. Allows Liam Scales to get an important block into the front post. Could have done a whole lot more, Ross McCausland there.
Yeah, just Rangers have gone for broke. They've pushed Tavernier up the pitch, they've pushed Raskin up the pitch, and they've almost had a line of 5 players there when the goalkeeper picked the ball up.
Celtic free kick here, Liam Scales over it, rolls it back to his keeper at the edge of his box. He played one of the 7 minutes of stoppages. It's a telegraph pass and Yilmaz is onto it on the left hand side, driving forward, now moving into a central position. Midway inside Celtic territory, squares it to Tavernier, back to Yilmaz, looks up at the goal, shoots for goal and drags it well wide. It's taken a deflection off a Celtic defender and Rangers have a corner. Some real nervy moments perhaps to come between now and the final whistle for the hordes of Celtic supporters who are all waiting here in anticipation of a party this afternoon.
Yeah, Celtic have really struggled to manage this game. 11 v 10, they should be able to do so much better.
Yilmaz will take right in front of where the visiting support normally is here at Celtic Park. There will be visiting supporters for this fixture from next season. A smaller number. Jack Butland's come up for this. Yilmaz takes, Butland tries to get onto it, it's headed away by Carter Vickers. Maida flicks away. There's no one in goal for Rangers right now. Sterling looking to see it out for a throw in, which he has done. Rangers throwing over on the far side. Still 2-1 to Celtic.
Yeah, and Rangers have overloaded the back post. They've got about 3 or 4 players in that back post area. Celtic are not managing it that well, and the ball's come into that position.
Davis heads over Tavernier's head and it's cleared, and now Adam Ida could be away. Ida trying to capitalise on the space, chops onto his right side, he goes back onto the left, chance here across the face of goal, wide, and still they can't finish them off. It stays Celtic 2, Rangers 1. The Celtic fans around about us cannot believe that this is still a contest out there. It was all the way through to Hart in the follow-up. It's still 2-1 to the defending champions. 4 minutes left.
That's a huge chance. They're like a cat, Rangers, all these lines I've had in this game. But he does well, Eden, just drags the shot wide to really kill Rangers off.
It's out on the right-hand side, Celtic come again. Nicholas Kuhn, they've got the ball exactly where Rangers don't want them to have it. Kuhn level with the penalty spot, he's taking his time, just rolls it back to Ralston. They don't need another goal, Celtic. They do not need another goal. They just need to manage this match for another 2.5 minutes, or 3.5 minutes, and that's it, it's done. It's McGregor out to this near side for Taylor. Yeah, that's 4 minutes played, just about at the 7, so 3 left. Tavernier infield to Raskin. He was being challenged by Taylor, skips infield to Ben Davis, who finds Yilmaz. Yilmaz goes long, looking for McCausland in behind Greg Taylor down this right-hand side. McCausland's onto it, takes it down, driving forward to the byline, 2 in blue in the middle. Back it comes, cleared by Scales. It was Roofe and Wright waiting. Breaks to Tavernier, Celtic can't get it away at the moment. Tavernier plays it off Maida, and out for a throw-in on this near side.
Taylor's piped as well, and for me, McCausland, his second touch there puts him square again. If he knocks it in the pitch, he's got Taylor done, and there's no way back for Celtic.
Raskin on the right, crosses in, looking for Roofe, flicked away there, a combination of Carter Vickers and Ralston. And now it's Kuhn, forward to Ida, driving forward, Sterling's the covering player, Ida's touch wasn't great. Sterling comes out on top again, as he has done plenty in the second half in that central defensive position.
Tell you what, you could build your squad around him, Sterling, play him anywhere, gives you everything, quick, strong, aggressive. He's been brilliant, he's had to beat, because Celtic looking to get this goal that will just ease the nerves, put the title out of sight.
The Rangers scored in stoppage time in the 3-3 at Ibrox a month ago. Can they repeat the heroics? No Rabbi Matondo this time. 2 minutes left. Ralston takes it down out of the Glasgow sky and drives forward down the right-hand side into the Rangers half. Davis has got Maida ahead of him. He does in loads of space as well, but Davies closes him down and wins it back and goes back to Butland. Butland launches it forward with the right foot. Celtic are a minute and a half away from victory. Taylor's headed it out for a Rangers throw-in though on this near side. This is about level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box.
Taylor, his legs have gone in. He couldn't even get the left leg up to boot it clear. He just chose to knock out the pitch, Pat.
I know. It's a warm day out there, let's face it. They've put a lot of effort into it, both sets of players.
Tavernier finds McCausland with the throw back towards Tavernier, but he loses out to Maidan. Taylor this time rifles it clear. 1 minute left of what was added. Long from Butland. 3 Rangers players in an offside position. Bouncing ball for Ralston. Wright's going to challenge him here. Over on the far side, Ralston gets it away. Celtic are 50-odd seconds away from the win. O'Reilly flagged off on the far side. It's going to be a Rangers free kick, and they're going to get one last chance to launch a long ball into the Celtic box here. It's now or never for Rangers. Even if they score here, it's probably not going to be enough. Ruth with a header into the box looking for Davis. It's cleared by Carter Vickers. Maida has it on this near side. Ruth's challenge out for a throw-in to Rangers. 20 seconds left. Tavernier bowls it to Diamonde. Flicks on for Ruth. Scales as well though. Really good defending. Not a great touch by Iwata though.
Mayhem, I can tell you.
Here's Yilmaz down the left. Gets away from one challenge, looks up at the box. This is it for Rangers. Comes to McCausland, heads it back on the 18-yard line for Tavernier. I make that time up. It's back to Raskin, crosses in, flicked away well by Ralston. Wright's onto it. Can he get a second chance? He does get the cross in. Can't find Davis, away by McGregor. And Willie Collin blows the full-time whistle. It is victory for Celtic. And whilst there's no silverware today, Celtic will be champions for 23-24. 6 points clear with 2 games to go, with a better goal difference. They've scored more as well, and crucially, they've won this one, and they've gone unbeaten against Rangers this season. And before a ball was kicked, they knew that if they did that, chances were that they would once again be kings of the Scottish Premiership, which they will be now for a 12th time in 13 seasons. They've been the undisputed kings of Scottish football for much of the last 11 or 12 years. And Brendan Rodgers will continue his unbeaten life as a title-winning Celtic manager, save for a miraculous comeback for Rangers now. They need Celtic to lose both their final matches against Kilmarnock and against St Mirren, and even if they did that, they might still end up champions. Philippe Clement shakes hands with Greg Taylor, having done so with Brendan Rodgers. It's not official today, but it is done, and the Celtic supporters here for a party will tell you that as well. And I'm sure even the most optimistic of Rangers fans would concede that the title is now beyond them. Matt O'Reilly opening the scoring in the first half before Lundstrom put through his own goal. Dessers headed home to give Rangers hope before Lundstrom's red card made the challenge all the more difficult for the visitors. O'Reilly had a penalty saved by Butland in the second half. Ida missed a hat-trick of chances. Maida missed opportunities as well. Butland made a couple of saves in the first half. But as the referee leaves the field after an incredible afternoon of action here in Glasgow's East End, it is just the Celtic players and their manager and staff who will celebrate with the 60,000 around about them. It will be their title. It's lights out for Rangers. and Celtic will be champions again. It finished here at Celtic Park in the second of this trilogy of derby matches with Rangers, with the Scottish Cup final to come in a fortnight. Celtic 2, 10-man Rangers 1.
On digital